Hey, welcome to the 8th episode of the Create Stuff podcast. In case you're wondering what's going on here, today I interviewed 5 animators who have animated something related to Dream SMP that got relatively large, I would say. I really hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. It was really cool talking to like a bunch of different people, and I really hope to do this again. Unlike the other episodes, this was not streamed live at Twitch because these were all a lot shorter. I wasn't just going to stream every single individual recording. However, you can still go to the description and see my Patreon, where you can give me just $1 a month, and that'll help me like so much keeping this RSS feed going, which is what I need to put this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That cost me a bit of money. So seriously, your patronage helps a ton. However, even if you can't do that, just you being here, just you watching it, and like liking, commenting, subscribing helps so much more than money does at all. Like, so I thank you just so much for being here. Please like, comment, subscribe. Seriously, it helps immensely. All right, I don't think I have anything else to say. Enjoy the podcast. Welcome to the special 8th episode of the Create Stuff podcast. I'm your host, Shaun Saxum, and today, the first guest I'm joined by is Rat.
Hello.
So, real quick, before we get started diving into your animatic folding chair, could you tell me what, like, the deal is with your channel, Juicerat?
Okay, so basically it's a joint account with me and one of my really good buddies, Juice. So it's basically just an account for us to kind of post our fan art. Some of it's collaborative and some of it isn't. Um, but it's just something we decided to make last summer for fun, or not last summer, this summer for fun, and then we just kind of went from there.
Okay. So, folding chair, if I understand correctly, that was mostly you, right? Did Juice have any part in that?
Yeah, actually. So for folding chair, most of the concept was me. Obviously, I had a little bit of feedback from Juice because we talk all the time. But the concept was me, and like all of the rough boarding was me. But I did have some help from Juice for a lot of the background work, and also from my good buddy Moss, who helped out with some background concepts for that as well.
Okay, that's cool. What is folding chair about exactly?
So, Folding Chair is kind of my love letter to the Bad Boy Halo Eggpire lore. I decided to kind of focus on his dynamic with Skeppy throughout the whole thing, because I thought that there was like a lot of people who didn't really like want to take the time to like watch the lore or whatever. So I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
like I guess summarize it in a way that was like I guess, like, easy to digest and was, like captured all of the best parts of the lore that I was a big fan of. So it's basically just kinda like the Eggpire stuff with a focus on, the friendship between Bad and Skeppy and how that kind of, I guess, evolves over the course of that arc.
Okay, that's interesting. I will say, before I watched your animatic, I had not seen like barely anything from the Eggpire. I think the only real like stream I had watched that had to do with the Eggpire was the Red Banquet, which obviously I had very little idea what was going on. But
Mhm.
after watching your animatic, I got a much better idea for what was going on. Like I think you did a really good job of that.
Thank you. That's honestly what I was going for with it, cause like, I feel like a lot of people, like because it was such a long arc, I feel like a lot of people were, like, a little, kinda confused on where to start, so I wanted to kind of make something that was easy for them to get, like, the best parts of the lore, without having to, like, not, like, spend all the time, but, like, without, being confused on where to start and, like, if they wanted to, like, go back and find other streams and stuff, they could, but that was kinda my mindset going into that.
Okay, that makes sense. So, can you tell me a little bit more about the story of the animatic in depth?
So, because of the nature of kind of like what we have going on with the Minecraft roleplay, we don't have like a deep backstory with specifically like Bad and Skeppy and even like Sapnap who is in there. Like I didn't really have much to go on for that kind of story. So I had to write a little bit of my own, I guess, lore for them for the beginning of the animatic. But basically it was just taking us or taking the audience through, I guess, the story of Bad Boy Halo's character over the course of his life. Beginning made up by me, the rest was the actual plot, but it was just kind of going through that and seeing how he changes from like before he kind of joined the SMP into after like discovering the egg and like all of the influence in that and like just watching that change happen. So that was kind of the plot there. It's kind of complicated because like you've seen it. It's like a dream inside a dream inside a dream. So I don't really know how to describe it in that sense, but I don't know. It's a lot
Uh-huh.
of things in one. There's too much.
Right, right. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Um, so why'd you choose to focus on Bad Boy Halo and Skeppy?
So Bad Boy Halo, I think, is probably one of my favorite creators in like the whole like Minecraft YouTube sphere because I'm an animation student. I really want to work in like children's entertainment and like making shows that are like not only beneficial for like children's development but also like entertaining for like older viewers to watch, like stuff like that. So seeing his content and seeing how he makes like a big effort to make his content family friendly is something that I really admire, which is why I was very, very fascinated with his lore because I was already like very intrigued by his persona online because it was something I very much like respected. So like watching the egg lore over time I was very like I don't know, I guess grabbed by the dynamic that they portrayed between him and Skeppy over the course of the egg lore because there's something very special about it, I think. It's very reminiscent of their actual real life interactions. Like you can very much tell that they are friends in real life, which is why I was so like, I don't know, grabbed by it cuz it it felt real in a way. Obviously it's not. Like that's not like no one's been possessed by an egg or anything, but like I don't know, there's something very heartwarming about these two friends and like in the course of the story like sacrificing all of this stuff for each other and getting to see that play out even if it is a little bit tragic. Like I don't know, it grabbed me in a way that I was not expecting from Minecraft roleplay. So
Okay, okay. Interesting. So can you tell me a little bit more about some of like the choices you made in the animatic itself for how you represented the characters and the events that happened?
so like I said before, I had to kind of come up with my own backstory for them based off of like what little information I guess we have on their whatever is going on before the SMP. So I decided to kind of take a route of um having it so that Bad and Skeppy already knew each other before the SMP happened because I don't actually know if they've established that. I spent so long on the Wikipedia trying to figure this out. I don't know if they were friends before the SMP or not. I don't know. But I decided to kind of take it as like they have traveled together and like have been friends for a long time before, like Bad Boy Halo adopts Sapnap, which is canon, but we don't really know the details of that either. Um but I decided to take my inspiration from the folding chair audio and kind of put it into their backstory. So like when I think of the song Folding Chair, like I think of like a beach because it obviously talks about one. So I decided to like make their, I guess, starting point, which we return back to in the animatic, this beach house where they share all of these past memories, like raising Sapnap or like just I don't know, hanging out, all that fun stuff. But so that was kind of like the interpretation I went for like the backstory. In terms of like personality, I kind of tried to make them like as as realistic as possible while still being able to tell the story I was trying to tell. Um, because like because of the nature of the Minecraft roleplay, it's kind of hard to like get a consistent character out of a lot of people because like a lot of the lore is like stuff that they're doing for fun that happens to turn into lore. So I had to like kind of pick and choose what I wanted to interpret with their characters,
Mm-hmm.
but I wanted to specifically I guess focus on making that like friendship dynamic very clear, like they're really close bond, and I guess kind of I don't know. It's really hard to explain because I just kind of went for it. I don't know. The spirit of Bad Boy Halo and Skeppy possessed me, and then I woke up and there was an animatic in front of me 2 months later. It's pretty much how I have to describe that. I don't know.
Okay, no, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. So, one question I have actually.
Yeah.
Um, in the original animatic, it seems like Bad Boy Halo and Skeppy get a letter of some sort. It's something that they read at some point, and then after that, no, it says it's from Sapnap, right? So is that
Yes.
like an
Yes.
invitation to the Dream SMP?
That's how I wanted to interpret that, I guess. I didn't write any words because I didn't want it to be like I wanted people to be able to interpret it however they really wanted to. Because I wasn't actually sure how they canonically got over there. I don't know if they lived there their whole lives or whatever. But I thought it would be kind of fun if I don't know, Sapnap moves out and then sends like a letter of where he is to his dad and Skeppy and then they just go because why not? I don't know.
Right, right. I
That's
see what you're
that's
saying.
how I went with it. Yeah.
Okay, okay. I feel like almost nobody in the Dream SMP ever actually explains where they came from or anything like
Nope.
that. So,
Literally none of them.
yeah, it makes things a little bit difficult from a lore perspective.
Yeah, extremely difficult.
Yeah, so let me ask you, do you have any like favorite scenes in Folding Chair?
Oh god. This is a hard one. There's so many.
Well, you can list them out, you know. You don't have to like choose
Yeah,
just one. Tell me more
definitely
about them
could.
and like what went into them.
Yeah. So with folding chair, I really decided to hurt myself emotionally by making a bunch of 1 second flashing scenes, um, which took probably longer than like all of the actual boarding parts that people would look at for longer than a second. Um, so a lot of my favorite bits are on screen for maybe like half of a second, which sucks because I don't know why I did that. I did it for me, I guess. But so like there's a lot of fun little details in the work that I did that I don't even know if people saw. Like I'm sure people stopped and looked, but there was a parallel that I did between a couple shots. There's a shot of Sapnap holding a sword towards Bad Boy Halo. This was before the egg was introduced, where he was pointing a sword at him and Bad was looking kind of like I don't know, shocked remember the context because I'm gonna be honest. I looked at the Wikipedia for most of the shots because I didn't know all the lore. I didn't know most of it, so I just kind of I don't know. I took bits that was on the wiki and I drew it out. So there was that hesitancy in Bad Space, and then I
Okay,
decided
okay.
to take another panel after he discovers the egg, and I flipped it. So I made it so that Bad was the one that was holding the sword, and that he was kind of um more willing to like go against his family now that this outside influence is in the way. Like I wanted to show that change of character um with that shot. I think someone noticed it. I don't know if they did. Um another scene I really like is again with Sapnap. I'm not like a big Sapnap fan. I just really like the dynamic I wrote out here. I I I really enjoyed the scene where they're standing in front of a mirror in their home and Sapnap kind of grows up really quickly. I That was one of the first shots that I did for the animatic that I really like grew attached to. So it has like a very special place in my heart because I was working on it for like 2 months. Like it was a long time. So like my art style and like my like boarding style like changed over the course of the animatic, which was weird. But like that scene specifically was one that was I was always very fond of. Even from starting out when it was just like scraps on my storyboard pro. But trying to think if there's any last one that I'm particularly like really fond of. Oh, of course, the end scene that everyone hates. So everyone hates this one because it makes them sad. But my favorite part, I guess to pitch, because I streamed a lot of the process for this. My favorite part to show people was the the scene where Bad Boy Halo wakes up on the beach, um, again, and he realizes that everything is kind of back to normal, or so he thinks. Um, and he's kind of shocked and he looks up at Skeppy and he's, all that fun stuff. But I was really excited to kind of parallel that first scene in the animatic, because like a lot of the shots are literally just like copy pasted in terms of like the shot comp and like the facial, I guess, expressions, stuff like that. Like all of that was kind of um supposed to parallel each other to kind of show that sense of familiarity that has come back. So that's what I really wanted to get across with that scene. And like, I don't know, I really like making people sad, so that really helped in that one. But that was one of my favorite scenes just to work on and to pitch to people, because the what follows made people very not happy.
Right,
Calm
right.
before the storm. Yeah.
Okay, so what is that supposed to represent? Like, what's actually happening there, if you don't mind me asking? Is that like a
With the
like when he
Oh,
wakes up on the
okay.
beach again, what's actually happening like in the story of things? Is that like just a dream or what's going on?
Okay. So I kind of wanted to leave it a little bit up to interpretation, because I think a lot of people had their own views on it. But how I took it was, so basically at the beginning of the animatic there is a boat on the screen that is supposed to be Bad Boy Halo right after the Red Banquet. He's, how he like runs away on his boat or whatever. We don't know where he goes to, whatever. So he's asleep on that boat, and he falls asleep. And so basically the whole of the animatic is kind of him dreaming about his past. So it starts out
Oh.
like it starts linear. So it starts out with just like he lives in the beach house, he's having a good time. Like all that stuff. Sapnap grows up, he like goes, and then all of that. And then once we get to the stuff with Bad Boy Halo, kind of with that final confrontation with Skeppy in the egg room, he has that like waking up in a dream kind of deal. So it's just kind of like a sequence of dreams, I guess, but at the same time it can be interpreted that it isn't, like, but I wanted to portray it as like he has this dream of him being okay, and then he wakes up from that dream back at the boat that was shown in the beginning. That's pretty much the only thing I wanted to be like specifically clear, was that the scene in the beginning ties directly back to the scene at the end, where he wakes up in the boat and he's back at the beach house that he had been dreaming about in the beginning. So that's kind of where I was going with that. It's kind of confusing, and I'm gonna be honest, I was working on it for so long that I kind of forgot my intentions with some of the scenes. So like, sometimes projects grow with people, which is funny, because I don't remember some of the reasons I drew things that I did. I just pretend that I do, which is great. But
Nice. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, but I never actually realized that when I was watching it, but now I can see
Really?
it, and it
Oh,
very
dang.
very painful. That hurts. You
Yeah, I'm
hurt me.
sorry. I'm sorry. You aren't the only one.
I know I'm not. I looked at the comment section.
Yep.
Um. Okay, so I noticed that you didn't use many colors throughout the entire thing. And although that's sort of a thing with animatics, it seems like you use some colors in certain places to really emphasize certain big details. Is that correct?
Mhm. Yes, I did.
Okay, so what was your goal with that?
So I've said before, I'm an animation student. So when we get taught storyboarding, we get taught in like a very specific way. So I'm basically just doing what I'm taught to do. Um I'm an animation student, like we're taught in a very specific way, like how to do things. So I was kind of just doing it the way that I'm used to doing it. With like storyboards for like shows and stuff like that, they like only use colors for like, I guess, to emphasize certain things. I've been planning on using color at all, which was you know kind of a shock for me when Juice came back with one of my backgrounds that I requested, and there was orange for the lava, and then I was like, oh well, shit, that was like the world's smartest thing to do. I didn't think to do that, but she just has a eye for stuff like that.
Uh huh.
And I think the color kind of made it made it work for those end scenes, because it was kind of only in the end that we brought that in. But yeah, it's more like I'm kind of doing the I wouldn't call my stuff like industry professional, but like doing like the way that we're taught in order to like get down that route, I guess. I don't know.
I get what you're saying. I get
That's
what you're
why I
saying.
did that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I do really love the lava. It just makes that whole section very unique from everything else. It gives it
Thank
a
you. That's yeah.
yeah, yeah, like really gives it a certain vibe, you know?
Yeah, thank you.
Why did you choose Folding Chair as a song?
This one's a hard one because it was like 3 months ago. I'm honest to God, I'm one of those types that like will listen to the song and like try to pair it with like a concept that I'm into. Like I'm very much like I have to think of like music videos to songs. So it was kind of one of those I listened to this song and then I was like, "Oh, this fits these characters really well." And I was already looking to do an animatic for Bad Boy Halo, because like I said, like I really admire the work he does, and I wanted to do something for that lore. So it kind of just like fell into place a little bit. It was kind of funny because Juice and I actually were working on our Castaways animatic that one was completely a split 50-50. We both worked on that equally. Um, but while we were working on that, I was like, "Hey, I just had an idea for something. I don't know if I'm gonna do it or not, but." And then I left it aside for a bit because I had other stuff to do. We were doing a whole other animatic during that. So it kind of like bubbled in my mind for a little bit. It was just kind of like simmering in there. Um, but I have a tendency to pick songs that are like very cheery sounding, and like maybe they're not lyrically cheery, but like taking songs that have that upbeat vibe and making them just really sad. Like I did that for Castaways. Because our method of storytelling, or I guess splitting projects and stuff like that, is like I do the pitching and I do the rough work, like the concept work, because that's like what I kind of specialize in, I guess. And Juice, who is also an animation student and specializes more in like she's really good at like animation and like cleanup and like layout specifically, she's very good at. So like she is really good with all of the like post production work. So like she did a lot of the like backgrounds and like the cleanup stuff and like the editing, like that's her thing. So for me, like I was given I listened to Castaways and I was like, "Hey Juice, let's make this really painful in a way. Not completely, but kind of." And she's lovely and totally went with it. Um but yeah, it kind of seems to be like a weird um I guess trend for me to pick songs that are like upbeat sounding and like making them a little bit sad. I don't know why I do it. It's because I think it people don't expect it, and I like that a little bit. Gives me a bit of an element of surprise.
Okay, okay. Yeah, it definitely makes it a lot more interesting.
Thanks.
Okay, yeah, so let me ask this. Why do you want to hurt me?
Because I get more power every time I do it. The more people that cry, the higher my power levels go, and one day I think I'll be able to fight God. So, that's pretty much why. No, it's it's because I like storytelling. I don't know. I like to do it. And when people have an emotional response to my work, it means that I'm doing something right. Maybe not like I'm not doing a kind thing, but my storytelling's working, so that's good.
Okay, okay. That's interesting. That's interesting. I definitely had
Yeah.
other guests on who would have said who like definitely say the exact opposite. Like
Really?
like I mean that they're going for like not they don't like sad media and they don't want to make people sad when they watch their stuff. However,
Oh,
I am
no.
actually no,
So
I'm actually the
that's
same way as you.
it's a sign of honor because it just shows that your work is moving, and that's I think the most important thing for me as an artist is to make work that makes people feel things, whether it's sadness or oftentimes disgust and disdain. Um, you know, it's gotta elicit some reaction, I guess. What's the point?
Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm the exact
Yeah.
same way with like my writing and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have any emotional attachment to your animatic?
Very much. Extremely much.
Okay.
A little too much. So, this project has been the I think most creatively satisfying thing I've ever worked on, like ever, which is kind of weird because like I've been drawing for so very, very long, but I don't think I've ever put in this much effort into something before. Because I just like have a tendency to make projects and then kind of drop them. I've never been able to like stick to one project for longer than like, I don't know, even a week. And this one was like 2 months, over 2 months honestly, of just like constant work. And like I genuinely don't know how it happened or what happened, what pieces aligned um in the puzzle that is my life to make this happen, but it did. Um it was very fun because a lot of this process was live streamed. We stream a lot on our Twitch, me and Juice, and we spent a lot of it just like hanging out while I worked on it, and I got to like pitch this project like I gotta say like dozens of times. Like every time we got a raid, I would just be like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna pitch this to you now," and then I would do it, and all of my viewers that would watch normally would just be like, "Oh, it's this again. We're we're going through it, the same script." But like it really like it really got me used to like actually pitching a project before cuz like I'm again in animation school and I want to go into boarding. So like pitching is like so like integral. It's so important. And like I have always been super like I guess embarrassed of my own work. So it was very like good for me to get used to like being able to pitch like work that like I'm proud of and like being able to present it to people who maybe don't know what it's about or like haven't seen it develop and like just getting to I guess share my thought process. And like the thing about this animatic is that like I have never been more, I guess, satisfied with the way I've gone about like doing a project. Like I sat down and I did the roughs to this because I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be like a really fun idea. Like I think I'll have a lot of fun with this." And then when I watched the roughs for the first time, I was like, "Wow, like this is a project I think that I would have fun watching if someone else made." And I think that's really important. And I think that's why this, I guess, whole video means so much to me. It's because like I put a lot of love into it. And there's a lot of things that like I wish were changed just due to like time constraints and like I wish I could have made it like perfect, but like in terms of like the story I wanted to tell and like how I wanted to go about it, I think I did it in a way that I can say I'm proud of and that really helped, I guess, forward my boarding skills.
Uh-huh. Okay, okay. That's nice. So, how do you feel about the end result of the project? Is there anything you wish you had done differently or anything like that?
Few things I wish I would have done differently. If I had it my way, I would have had Juice do every single background, but I'm not a horrible friend, so I would never force her to do that. She did way too much for me already. She's already way too kind to me. But I think just adding more details and maybe like working on my like my grayscaling, like there's some scenes I wish just looked a little bit better and stuff like that. But other than that, like I don't really think I changed too much other than like revamping scenes that I know I could do better now. But in terms of like story, like I think I pretty much like did exactly what I was going for. Like my roughs really did not change that much from like the finals didn't change too much from the roughs. Like they were pretty consistent in terms of my shots and my I guess layouts and stuff like that. So, you know, just little details, I think.
Okay, okay, fair enough. Good stuff.
hmm
How do you feel about the reception of Folding Chair?
Reception. I am very pleased with it. Like I it deep in my heart, I wish it, would have like gotten like 400 million views. Like everyone would have loved it. Like that's like the like deep part of my heart thinks that. But at the same time, like you know what, Bad Boy Halo saw it, said he cried. I'm I'm very tempted to just believe him. I hope he did. But like, you know, the feedback, the actual comments and the feedback mean more to me than views ever could. Like, and like that's not saying like what are we at? Like 90K is like small. You know what I mean? Like that's like I'm blown away by that, but you know what I mean? But
Yeah, I get what you mean.
yeah, it's the feedback has been really, really, really great. Um, it it's really like I don't know. It's really weird that people are like watching my work and responding emotionally to it. Like I don't think I've really processed it. In my heart of hearts. We were actually on stream when I found out that Bad Boy Halo watched it. We were like it was like an hour after it released. Someone had donoed to one of his streams that he happened to be streaming when it released and he saw it. And I don't know. I didn't process it until like I think 2 days later that he saw what I did. Um, so that's I think pretty much all I could ask for is that, you know, like he apparently enjoyed it. He really liked how short I drew Skeppy, which was very important to me. Um, and people seem to have had an emotional reaction to it, which is the most important thing. So I'm pleased with it. I mean, I still want 400 million views, but we'll get there.
Okay. Awesome. Bad Boy Halo, did he like watch it on his stream?
No, so I think I can't remember who donoed. If you're listening to this, I love you. But a couple people donoed to his stream and told him that we had made an animatic, and so he I think like looked it up and like skimmed through it on stream, but didn't fully watch it on stream. And then once his stream ended, he went and he watched it, and he left us a little comment, and it was very lovely. Um, but yeah, so like he didn't I'm a little bit sad that I only got like a few little reactions from him because I would have adored to like have gotten his reaction like on stream. And I think that would have made like my whole life. But you get he said he really liked how short I drew Skeppy. So which honestly like hmm?
I was actually wondering, why'd you draw Skeppy so short?
Cause it's funny. Here's the deal. I did it sort of as a challenge to myself. So my Skeppy design is just a little man with a cube head, and you know, it's kind of hard to take that seriously in like a world of like a bunch of different designs and stuff like that. But you know, I'm very much like I love doing character designs that like are non-human, and like the Dream SMP gives me ample opportunity to do that. And so I had this design for Skeppy that I've been drawing for a long time. And I was like, you know what would be really funny? What if I just made this really, really serious animatic and like just drew Skeppy as a cube and just made people feel sad over it? Because I feel like if I can make people cry over cube Skeppy, I can tell any story. I can do anything. Cause he looks like a cube toddler. And like I was just like, you know what? This is it for me. Like I don't know. I was just emotionally attached to the design and like I wanted to see if I could actually pull it off. And like, you know, I got a couple comments being like, "Oh, he looks like Sans." And I'm like, you know, that's fair. I was expecting it, but I got a lot less comments about it than I thought. So I think I won. I think I did it.
You won. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations. He does kind of look like
Thank
Sans,
you.
actually, now that you mention it.
He does. He does.
A
I
little bit.
specifically did that on purpose a little
What?
bit.
Wait, you make
Don't
him
tell
look like
anyone that.
Sans? Huh?
Okay, no. Okay. I gave him his design and like I loved Undertale back in the day. So like obviously when you enjoy something a lot, you're going to have a little bit of design influence. So like, you know, it kind of bled in there. I didn't mean for it to, but like then I realized it and I was like, I could push it a little bit. He's got the blue hoodie. It's there. If people want to see him as Sans, they can. Maybe he is Sans. We don't know. Maybe he is Sans. He
Skeppy is
pulls off the
Sans?
cube head and it's yeah, Skeppy Sans.
Welcome to game theory. Jeez.
Skeppy as Ness is Sans in Steven Universe. He's all of them at once. The Steven Universe Collective.
Oh gosh. Alright. The game theory multiverse now includes a Dream SMP. That's what we needed. That's what we needed.
I'm gonna
in this
make a
world.
Matt Pat. I'm gonna make a Matt Pat animatic next. No, sorry.
Good God. Please no. Okay.
Don't tempt me. Do not tempt me.
Alright. So to wrap this up, do you have any advice for any artists out there who might be listening in?
See, I thought about this question since you asked it, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm gonna say here, because like, as someone who has like been studying art for like a long time, like there's a lot of like technical advice I could give you, and like, stuff that's like very like, I guess, mean, and not mean, but like stuff that people don't want to hear, and like all of that stuff is really important. Like I don't think that's like the essence of like the way I do art. So I think the most important thing that I would I guess tell people who are artists or even just any sort of creative is just to like make the work that you want to make. If you're not like looking at your work and like you're not excited about it, like I feel like there's no point. Not that there's no point, but like that should be what you're like striving towards, because I think that that is the purpose of art, and it really does make your work better if you're enjoying it. The reason why the Bad Boy Halo animatic was so fun for me is because I looked at it and I saw a project that I would enjoy if I was just sitting back and watching it, which is why I put that much effort into it and like wanted to watch it grow and flourish, and I think that that can be said for any sort of creative endeavor. Like just make what you would have fun watching. Cuz people will see that passion and they will reciprocate it for your own work. Um Side note, I think it's very cool when people like take other interests and put it into their creative work. Like even if it's like weird knowledge or whatever, like even that is so much more appealing than like stuff that just, I don't know, looks technically nice but like doesn't have that passion behind it. I think passion is just so important, I think. So like if you're out there and you're like, I want my work to be like good, just like draw what you want to draw and you'll get there. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to get better if you're not enjoying what you're doing, I think.
Hmm.
That's my advice.
Okay. All right. Pretty good advice.
Thank
Well,
you.
Rad, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was really great to have you. Oh, actually, last thing I'm going to ask before you leave. Um, do you have anything else in the works by chance?
We do. So Juice actually is working on her own animatic. We both started working at the same time on our own work because our project before was a 50-50 effort, and then we were like, why don't we split it up a little bit and do our own thing? So she's still working on her own animatic. It's a Technoblade animatic. I'm helping out with it. I don't know how we're splitting up that work right now, but it's her concept, it's her idea. I'm just kind of like I'm backseat driving it a little bit, but like it's mostly hers, pretty much all hers. So that's very exciting in that regard. So I don't know any sort of release date for that because we both have school coming up, but it's going to be really good. I'm so honored to be working on it. Like it's really fun. Um it's supposed to be like dramatic like a dramatic but fun like high energy retelling of Technoblade's lore with like a focus on his like character rather than like the events that go on, I guess. Like it's more supposed to be like a character piece, I guess. It's a lot of fun.
Hmm. Okay,
The audio
cool.
is very good. She did a very good job editing the audio. It's going to be really really good.
Awesome. I am super excited to
Yeah.
watch that, actually. I cannot wait for that to come out.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And are you guys still streaming that, like the production of that on your Twitch?
We should be. I have no idea what's going on in the distant future. We've been kind of since folding chair ended, we kind of have like a lull in like what we're streaming. We actually we do our own lore for a Minecraft SMP we have. But
Uh-huh.
other than that, like we'll probably get back to streaming the animatic work in the future, but I can't say what we're doing right now cuz it's all up in the air. But
Okay, okay.
yeah.
Fun stuff. All right. Well, Rat, it was great to have you on the podcast. Really interesting talking to you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Hello and welcome, our second guest on this special episode of Create Stuff, Shyshui, also known as Sock.
Hi.
Welcome to the podcast. It was good to have you. Shyshui, can you tell us real quick what you've worked on that other people might know about?
Well, I worked on the redesign your logo animation, and recently I've worked on the vibrant eyes animation for CG5.
Okay, good stuff. So, redesign your logo, the Rambo animation you did. I'm gonna start by asking
Yeah.
you a little bit more about that. So, can you tell me about the basic concept for redesign your logo?
Well, redesign your logo. The basic thing is it doesn't make any sense, first of all, and yeah. But the basic thing is that it's meant to kind of oh my god, I don't have the words for that. It's the screen printing style, and it's basically a random animation that I wanted to make for fun with a really funky style, and it's nothing really special other than that.
Okay. I really like the style though. I thought it was like it's very unique compared to a lot of other things I've seen. And it's same thing in the Vibrant Eyes animation. How
Yeah,
would
for the
you?
vibrant tiles. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, go on, go on.
I was going to say for vibrant tiles, I was asked to do the same as redesign your logo. That's why it's similar.
I see. So that's not like your usual art style.
Yeah. I like using a bunch of different styles. It's what is keeping me motivated to do a lot of stuff.
Okay. That's really cool. So, what came first? Like, did you decide you wanted to make an animation about Rambo or about redesign your logo first?
No, it was always about Rambo. When I first got the idea, I was actually at an animation festival, and I was like, I want to animate. I want to animate Rambo on redesign your logo because I saw someone who made a really cool piece of art with Rambo and redesign your logo, and it was really cool and really funky. It has those old poster vibes, and I wanted to do that.
Okay. Interesting. The colors you chose. I noticed that like the color design is really interesting. I wanted to ask, why'd you choose the colors that you chose? What were you going for there?
It's basically the primary colors and some darker colors for the background. It's nothing special. I just wanted something very bright and very reminiscent of screen printing again, because you often use the primary colors to do the printing.
I see. I don't think I've actually ever heard of what you just mentioned. Can you say the name of that one more time?
Screen printing. It's basically a printing technique where you have a screen with little holes in it, and you put some ink and you spread it on top of that, and it prints under it. And then you make, well, if you want to do another color, you have to take another screen and put another ink color, and then spread the ink, and you have to do that in layers. It's really funky.
Have you ever used this type of printing before?
I think I did. In high school, I think I did because I was in a design school.
Uh huh.
We had a screen printing project, I believe. It was really weird, but it wasn't like the maximum you could do with screen printing. It was really basic.
Okay. Interesting. Are there any scenes in redesign your logo that you're especially proud of?
Uh, I think I'm really proud of the bottle scene, the one where he looks at the water bottle and you see his eyes and stuff. I really like this scene because it was really complex, and when I finished it, I was like, it kind of looks cool. It has a nice composition compared to some of the other shots that I was not as proud of, like
Yeah,
the one right behind it that is only the silhouettes, and the last one I don't really like it compared to the others.
that's definitely one of my favorite parts of it too. It looks very nice. Actually brings up another question. I noticed Rambu's eyes are red and yellow instead of his like
Yeah.
normal colors. Is that just the same reason as you already stated, or
Yeah, it's the limited palette. I had a lot of people who told me that the colors were wrong and they thought it was Rambob and not Rambo. but But yeah, it's only the limitations. That's why for Vibrant Eyes, I didn't go for the limitation I had on redesign your logo because I didn't want people to be confused on a Rumbu song.
Okay, fair enough. Well, let's see. Oh yeah, I noticed at the end that his eyes are like when he pulls down his glasses, his eyes are purple. What's up with that?
It's the Underwalk. I really wanted him to be at the end of the Underwalk for no reason because I thought it would be cool.
Okay. No, it is cool. It is cool. It gives me a little bit of shivers. I won't lie. I like it. It's a very cool moment. Goes like it's so well timed. The music too. You know, he says, "Are they even human?" And he pulls his glasses down. It's so smooth. I also.
Oh yeah. Now that you say it, are they even human? That's why I did the Underwalk thing. I wanted to really accentuate the fact that he was an Enderman. Talking about people being human. I think that's what I wanted to go with.
Oh, okay.
I just remembered. I forget my ideas.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. I like that though. That's really interesting. Are there any other points where like you purposefully like kind of put the lyrics into the animation?
The DNA part. This one, I first did the DNA part like half and half to have the iconic Rambo half and half look. And then when I thought about it, when he talks about DNA, he has separated in two, and I was like, man, this is so clever. He is separated in two, talking about DNA, and he is probably made out of two DNAs. So most of the times
Oh.
it ends up being kind of clever, but when I think about it after I've done it, it's really weird.
That's really interesting though. I've never thought of it like that. But that is a super cool scene. I love how like the way his head moves around and like the DNA just stays centered, but like you know the colors still change and stuff. Very nice. I like that.
Yeah, I'm glad it turned out okay because I was really scared when I was cleaning up these shots.
Yeah, it turned out really well. I will say it definitely looks like it had quite the reception.
Yeah, a lot of people ended up liking this shot a lot for some reason. I think
About
it's
a
because
million.
yeah, I think it's because this specific shot compared to the others is a bit smoother because I did the DNA thing a bit smoother than the other parts.
Oh, okay. So, how did you feel about the reception of the video as a whole?
Uh, kind of overwhelming. Like I wasn't. I know that a lot of people were going to see it because I had already blew up a bit on Twitter. Because of my little acting animations I made on some audios, and I thought like, okay, maybe 10,000 people are going to see it at most, and then 1 million. And it was really a lot to me. I never had that many people see my animations before, and I never had that many people like my animations that much. Uh, I was really happy to see how much people loved it because I am often not very proud of my own work. I get very anxious about my own work. Like I don't think I'm good enough, and seeing how people loved it really made me more confident in what I was producing.
Okay. And I noticed Rambo also commented on it himself.
Yeah. Oh, I took so long to see the comments.
That's really cool though. Love that.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So can you take me through like your creative process of making this animatic?
The creative process. Yeah, sure. Basically, when I get an idea to make an animation, I listen to the song a lot. So, I listen to the song maybe a whole day. If I have a train trip or a car trip, I will listen to the song and look at the distance and think about what I want to do. Then I will start putting stuff on paper in my sketchbook, do little fast sketches or how I want the stuff to look. And once I have all the principal pieces of well, no, wait, let me go back a bit. When I drew all the principal stuff I want to show in the animation, I go on my animation program and I do the storyboard in motion with the song to see how everything looks with the song playing and how I want it to be timed. And when I'm done with that, it's pretty straightforward. I just go along and animate till I'm done. But
Okay.
sometimes before starting the animation as a whole, I do a little test to see how I want it to look and if it works.
Okay, that's interesting. It's interesting. Are there any like little details hidden in it that not a lot of people have noticed, or that you snuck in there? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I didn't hide anything. It's really just uh, the way you see it. There is nothing hidden in it.
Okay, fair enough. And in the scene where he's looking out the window, I just thought of this. This is something I've been curious about. What is actually happening outside the window? What is he looking at? I cannot tell.
uh, he's looking at Las Nevadas because
Oh!
before I did this, it was a last minute change. Normally, this scene was supposed to be the big Las Nevadas sign, and Rambo was fixing it because he had a wall stream where he just complained about it not being centered. So I just wanted him to fix the sign, but I ended up not doing it because it looked bad.
Fair enough. That is really funny, but it doesn't fit his personality throughout the entire animatic, to be fair.
Yeah.
Though, okay, that makes a lot more sense now. Now that you say that, I can totally see it. I can see like the sign and everything else there.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything else you want to say about redesign your logo?
Not really. It's pretty straightforward. There is nothing much to say about it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I love it though. It's so good. I've watched it many, many
Ah,
times.
thank you so much.
Yeah. Sometimes there's something great in simplicity.
Yeah, I really like simplicity too. I like stuff that doesn't make a lot of sense. Just cool stuff put together. I really like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It's still fun to watch. You know, not everything needs to be complex and deep.
Yeah.
Okay, so you also did the animation for Vibrant Eyes by CG5, a song that just recently came out about the Dream SMP and about Rambo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how did that come about? How did you get roped into this project?
Basically, after Redesign Your Logo was out, um, for a while I didn't do anything, and one day CG5 actually DM'd me on Twitter and told me, I'm going to make a song soon, and I'll need an animator for my song. So, would you be interested in a commission of a music video for the song? And I was like, yeah, sure.
Okay,
So
awesome.
that's just how it is. There isn't much to it too.
No, okay, understandable, understandable. In the animation for Vibrant Eyes, there are a few times where the color palette really changes. What's going on there?
The color palette changes. Maybe there is three versions of the color palette. Not counting the shadow thingies. There is a really light version of the color palette, and it's only for the scared of the rain parts because they sound very light compared to the rest, and I wanted it to have a high contrast compared to the rest. And the really bright blue one with the purple, the under eye parts. No, not the under eye, the underwalk parts.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
basically, it's all the parts where he's underwalking. I just wanted it to be really different from the rest and really show that this isn't the same Rambo as the one from the song. Well, well, not the one from the song, but the usual one, the normal Rambo, the one who forgets.
Right, right. I know what you're talking about. I think you accomplished that perfectly. I like it.
Nice.
Are there any details in this animation that you're particularly happy with, or any scenes that you're particularly happy with?
uh, I'm not happy with a lot of this animation because, well, I didn't have much time and I couldn't push it to the level I wanted to. But
Oh, I
I
see.
really like, yeah, I really like the loop parts where it's the chorus parts. Um, especially when there is the, oh my god, I don't remember the lyrics for it. someone helped me. When there is that little lyric, there is a little sketchy animation, and I really like that part because it was very fun to do. And the other shot I really like is the last one at the end with Dream and the Underwalk, because it was the most fun to animate and the least frustrating one because it ended up looking the way I wanted to.
Okay, okay. I really love how that part looks. That that actually is probably my favorite part of the entire thing too. So you were on a time limit for this.
Yeah.
And how did that affect the process for you?
I'd say it made me rush a lot more. For redesign your logo, I did it in about 2 to 3 weeks. Because it was a personal project, I could do whatever I want. But for this one, I had only 1 month, which is very, very, very little time for one animator to do a 2-minute animation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
From
am
what
actually.
other animators have told me, that sounds terrible, honestly.
Yeah, it is. But I'm the one who asked for this time period, so I am the one to blame. I could have asked for more time, but I ended up telling, yeah, 1 month is okay, why not? But I've had professional projects before where basically you have a lot more time. Uh, but yeah, for this one, basically, I had to do a lot of sacrifices in terms of numbers of frames, amount of details, of what would happen in the scenes. Like, I couldn't push the animation to the level I wanted to. I did even lower FPS than redesign your logo. So uh, it was a lot of rushing. Plus, it was kind of a bad period for me, so it was kind of hard to do everything. But yeah.
Okay. Understandable. Even with that, though, it came out very, very well.
I'm glad it did.
Yeah. Okay, so is there anything else you want to say about the vibratized animation?
In this animation, some people think I hid some things, but I actually didn't. All the Ender written stuff are actually just the memory book pages translated, because I thought that having normal text would be too. What's going on? What's
Right,
going
right.
on? Wait, I'm sorry. I got cut off because I'm hearing weird stuff. I was going to say, yeah, no, weird stuff are happening in the house. That's why I'm so sorry.
Okay. No, you're all good. You're all good. I just got confused there for a second.
Yeah, I got very confused too.
Okay. But go on.
Yeah, so I was talking about the pages being only translated memory book pages. So there isn't there isn't anything hidden in this animation, but you could think there would be stuff hidden.
Right. That's still a pretty cool detail, though. Even just that is I mean, that's sort of like a hidden thing. What is if you're open to telling me, do you have any other projects in the works right now?
Yeah, I do. I have 2 things I want to do. Uh, One I'm sure I'm going to do, and one other I'm probably not going to do because I'm kind of lazy. uh, so the main project is well, again, a Lemon Demon song. It's Ancient Aliens, and I want to animate that with Rambo again.
Okay. That fits him super well. I love that song.
Yeah, I love that song too. I had ideas for original projects with it, but I couldn't make it fit quite right. But once I did it with Rambo, well, I thought about it with Rambo, it kind of fits, so I'm happy to do it now.
Okay. That's cool. I'm very much looking forward to seeing that.
I'm looking forward to do it.
Yeah. Okay. So to wrap things up here, do you have any advice for the artists and content creators watching at home?
Uh, I might have 2 advices. One specifically for animators and one for people who want to do professional stuff. Who wants to have art as a professional career. So for animators specifically, Wait, no, actually, this advice could apply to everybody when I think about it. But if you have a project to finish, give yourself small objectives every day to keep yourself going. For example, tell yourself today I'm finishing this part of the drawing, and after that you're free to maybe continue and get advanced on your next objective, or just be free and do whatever you want for the rest of the day. But don't give yourself unrealistic objectives and stuff like that, because you're going to get demotivated. And for the other advice, and it's specifically for people who wants to do art as a professional career. Oh my god, I can't say that word. I would say I have trouble saying some words. It kind of sucks.
No, I get
So if you want, yeah, if people want to continue art as a professional career, and this is coming from someone who is in art school, and I had to do that, uh, do the annoying stuff, the studies, the learning, the perspective, the anatomy stuff. Because one, it's going to make you improve, and two, you're going to use that all your life, and it's really useful. So do the annoying stuff first, and then you can have a lot of fun.
Okay,
But if
alright.
yeah, if people do it as a hobby, you don't really need that. It's really useless. If you want to be professional, you'll need it.
Okay, fair enough. Alright, good
That's
stuff.
all.
Well, Sock, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was great to have you.
Well, thank you for interviewing me, I guess. I have no idea. Well, I'm glad I could have been here. It's been really fun.
Yeah, alright. Good stuff.
Good stuff indeed.
Welcome, Aurodilla, to the Create Stuff podcast. It is good to have you here.
It's good to. I'm sorry.
You're good, you're good.
Well, thank you for inviting me. Hello, hi.
Okay, Aurodilla, would you just tell us real quick, what have you done? What do you do?
I do animations. I do animatics or storyboards, if that's better. Of Dream SMP.
Okay, okay. So, can you tell us about some of the animatics you've created?
I do a lot of MCYT memes, if yeah, and one of my famous ones. Wow, famous. The villains AMV.
The Villains Dream
And
SMP AMV, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, 3.7 million views now.
Jeez.
Yeah, that is insane.
Yeah.
So, let me ask, can you tell me more about the Villains Dream SMP AMV? Like, what inspired that? What was your creative process in making it?
Oh, okay. So before I joined the fandom, I was an Instagram artist. And before I became an Instagram artist, I was a very big fan of the animation meme community in YouTube. And I was a big fan of Bone, if you know who that is. Bone, Boun, and
Mhm.
Zemyata. And I followed them when I was an Instagram artist, and I saw the announcement that they did a collab, and they were two of the most famous animation animators, and I was so excited. I was so excited that I was screaming. I was screaming when it premiered, and my sister had to tell me to lower down my voice, and I was so amazed. I was so amazed. Their videos always amazed me, but that collab just amazed me so much because they were two of my inspirations, and their music choice in that video, I was like, wow, that's a nice song. That's a very nice song. So I uh I I searched up the music video, and I was like, okay, yeah, that editing was so good. That the transitions were so good. Like, wow. So I was like, wow, yeah. And when I joined the Dream SMP fandom, I was like, wait, because I joined, no, not joined. I included the song in my playlist, in my private playlist in Spotify, and one day it came into my playlist. It was randomized. I forgot what the word was, but it was randomized, and I was like, wait, this fits in the current lore. So I was like, yeah, sure, I can make an animatic out of this. I guess that's the rundown as to why I made villains. I just find any songs nice, I guess.
Okay, all right, cool. So the obviously the song "Villains" is the song that Boned and the other person you mentioned, I'm forgetting their name. Sorry.
Zamyata.
Yeah, Zenyatta. So that's the song that they used in their collab.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So, what made you think that would work well for the Dream SMP?
Actually, I any song that comes to my playlist, if it's cool sounding, I just am. I think a lot of animators do this as well, where there's a cool song that they listen to, they try to imagine like a music video or like an animatic, a storyboard, and I guess that just happened to villains. I don't know.
Uh huh. Yeah, for
uh,
sure. I
yeah,
do the exact same thing. I'm not even an animator, but like just this morning, I was
yeah.
listening to music on my way to to a meeting for a school thing, and I was imagining like one of my own characters I've made like in an
Wow,
animatic
original
with
characters.
yeah, imagining like an animatic from with Island to Thyself by Miracle Musical. I love doing that. It's super fun.
Yeah. It's good. It's cool. It's a nice thing.
Yeah. So the song "Villains" actually really fits the Dream SMP super well.
I guess it's the message that means a lot more. Or like the beat. The beat is good.
Yeah, I totally agree. Is the language that the lyrics are in, is that like your native language?
Oh no. I'm Filipino.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm,
so
I'm not I'm not I'm not a K-pop fan as well. I just like the song.
fair
Yeah,
enough.
that's
I'm not
yeah.
a huge K-pop fan as well, but there are some songs that like, they
Yeah,
just
there there,
oh, they're
there are
fun.
bangers. There are bangers.
Oh yeah. What events in the Dream SMP did you cover with the Villains AMV?
Oh, okay. So I'm sorry, this is like 1 year ago, so I might forget some stuff,
That's
and I
alright.
might stutter. But
No
like,
worries.
I included the Lemanberg War, the original one. The Manberg elections, I guess. Yeah, the Manberg elections.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, hmm. and November the 16th. Yeah, I guess that's all because it was in the. I released the video in December, and the oh yeah, the the November 16th part, the one at the end. That was the last second change.
Really?
Yeah. That was the last second change. I forgot what I'll find it here, but oh, I no, I can't find it here. I left my hard drive downstairs,
Oh, that's too
but
bad.
I'm sure it's another thing. But I forgot. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Not a huge deal.
Yeah.
That's interesting though. In Villains, do you have any like scenes or anything that you're particularly proud of or that you like a lot?
I'm I'm very proud of the wheelchair part. Well, not wheelchair. Is that what it's called? I forgot. The the
The
chair
like
the chair part,
I know what you're talking about. The like
not the
where they're.
wheelchair. Wait,
Do you mean the part?
the
Oh,
office chair.
the office chair. Okay. You mean where Eret and Schlatt are playing chess, or
No,
when
no,
Schlatt is
no.
in his
The
office?
yeah, yeah. When Shai was in his office,
Okay.
because I did the last minute change at that part. That's how long it took. Because like I think majority of the time I was working on the animatic. Majority of it was working on that swiveling chair.
Really?
It was very yeah. I had to animate. I had to draw the chair in different angles at first. I think the picture is still up in my Twitter, but I had to animate the chair in different angles and then put shot on it
Okay,
because
okay.
I don't know how to animate these things. So I remembered, oh yeah, Jaden Animation animated the PewDiePie chair on that one YouTube rewind, so I can reference that. And I noticed that the chair remained the same in the angles, so I drew the chair first and then added shot.
Okay, okay. That's interesting. I never thought of that. That makes sense
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
Good way to do it. So can you tell me a little bit more about like the kind of style you used?
My art style.
Yeah.
That's the art style that I used. It's my simplistic art style. My actual art style is, I guess you can just see it in my Twitter, but like it's more semi realistic, more like anime style, I guess.
Okay,
If that's
okay.
anime, I don't know.
I see what you're saying. I noticed that in the video you use like for the when lyrics pop up on the screen, you kind of do that thing where it's like, oh, how did I describe it? It's kind of like that scrapbook thing where you take a bunch of letters from different like places and put them
Oh,
together. I really love that. What
yeah.
gave you inspiration to do that?
I guess the music video and the collab video, and the music video as well.
Okay, okay. So they both used that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Okay.
collab, they did the same thing, but in a more stylistic lettering. And the music video, in the music video in the chorus, uh, they they did the lettering, but not in that. Not I guess yeah, not in like what do you call this? I forgot the word, but yeah, I got inspiration from both videos. I forgot
Okay.
the word. I'm sorry.
That's okay. What like describe it to me again? Sorry. I'm not sure what word you're trying to
Uh,
say.
I forgot the word. The lettering, the
The
letter that
font?
most no, yeah, the font. That's the word.
Yeah,
But
okay,
like
okay.
that that font was used in the video as well, if I can remember correctly.
I see, I see. Yeah, I really love it. It's so like
Yeah,
colorful.
yeah.
Very nice.
It's very cool.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to say about the villain's animation, AMV?
Uh, oh God, oh yeah. I was about to say not truly. I don't. Yeah, but I remembered. Uh, I was skipping classes when I made these.
Whoa, jeez.
I'm
Aurodilla, you devil.
sorry. I'm sorry. Online school is just not for me. I'm sorry.
No, no, that's understandable. I played Minecraft during every online class I had.
Oh God. And you say I'm the devil.
At least I was there. Come on.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But like, I don't know. I used the animatics as like a procrastinating thing for me,
Mhm.
and and these took a lot of time. And I, when my mom would ask me, "Hey, hey, Cobble," that's just the name I'm gonna use. Hey, Cobble, did you do your assignments already? I said, yeah, yeah. You can see I'm working on it right now, yeah. And I'm just like doodling. I'm just like drawing the frames.
Okay,
But like my yeah.
to be fair though, there are way worse ways to procrastinate. You made a pretty cool thing while you're procrastinating.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm procrastinating by playing Valorant. I'm not making anything. I'm sorry.
Still pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, oh, last thing I have to ask about this one. It says it's a Dream SMP AMV. So what about an AMV is different from like a normal animation?
Oh my god. I got a lot of comments about it. Uh, okay. Here's my explanation as to why it's an AMV. Growing up, AMV means animated music video. It's when uh it's when animators do their own do their own twist on a music video, on a song. And I didn't know it changed over time. I didn't know it changed into an anime music video. So a lot of people were asking me, "This is not an anime music video." I didn't know it's an anime music video now.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think. I mean, like, I think people just use it as anime music video now, but I think animated music video was what it originally means.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And alongside AMV, it was PMV too, like picture animated video. It's like uh it's like the characters and the lyrics are on the same screen. But that wasn't what I was doing, so I just said, "Oh, AMV. I guess that's a good term for it."
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Oh, I noticed that Eric commented on that one.
Oh yeah,
How did that feel?
yeah. I I think Aaron already reacted on another one. Oh yeah, the elections.
Mm-hmm.
I was still very wow wow. I don't know how to explain it. I was still surprised. Yeah, I was just wow.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
really cool.
expect it to blow up this big.
Yeah. How do you feel about like its incredible success?
I don't know. I guess it's just there. I don't know. Like
Fair enough.
uh I think the first exposure of my content on CCs were when someone donated, why did I say dono? Someone donated like a lot of money to media share the elections on Tubble's stream, and I was washing the dishes at this time. I was washing the dishes at 3 a.m. and I was watching the stream at the same time, and I was like, wait, that song is so familiar. And I looked at the screen. It was my animatic. I was crying. I was legit crying.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is crazy. What an incredible feeling.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know. These feelings is so cool. It's so cool, but it's also overwhelming when it yeah.
Uh-huh. Right, right. Super neat.
Wait, I'll drink water.
Good idea. Yes, drink water. And if you're listening at home, you make sure you drink some water too.
Hydrate yourself. Hydrate is good.
Yes, hydration is good. Um,
And
whenever
if
you're
you
ready.
don't drink water, your pee will smell bad.
Yes, exactly. We want clear pee here, all right? If you can't
That
see
is
through your
true.
pee perfectly, you're not doing it right.
That's bad. That's bad.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm actually wrong. If your pee is clear, that means you're overhydrated. But that's better than being
Wait, really?
underhydrated. Yes, actually.
Really?
Yeah, believe
I
it or
didn't
not.
know that.
But it's way better than being underhydrated because when you're underhydrated, your body can keep getting rid of water, you know? That's easy, but it can't keep
Yeah,
getting water like to it itself. You have to do that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, you learn a lot of things in this channel. Subscribe right now.
Exactly, exactly. You heard it. You heard it. Aurodilla says to subscribe. Do it right now. Do it right now. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, like follow or leave a rating or whatever it is you do on those platforms. I don't know. And if you're
The
watching on Google
segue, the
Podcasts,
segue.
what are you doing? Okay, so
Amazing segue.
amazing, amazing segue for sure. So more about the elections. Tell me a little bit about that, just real quick.
That took a when if you look at it, it's almost at 4 minute at the 4 minute mark.
Mm-hmm.
I was struggling. I was very much struggling on this one. I guess yeah, that's all I guess. Oh,
Uh huh.
also when it appeared on Tubbo's stream, a lot of people said Sadist? Sadist uploaded a new video? And I was like, no, that's not Sadist, I'm sorry. And I guess that carried on over as time progresses, and I guess it took a toll on me, but not really. Like Sadist is one of my inspirations as well. But I don't know. I don't know.
So like,
I like her content.
so well, I imagine it would have been kind of painful to just have people look at your thing and immediately think it was someone else's, huh?
I guess, but I don't know. I don't know if I should take it as a compliment because like it, Sadis is very good and being compared to her is very cool. But like I don't know. I'm, it's my content.
Right.
I guess it looks like, but I don't know. It looks different. So much different.
No, I completely agree. Honestly, I'm surprised they said it was saddest. It's just a completely different art style.
Yeah, it's a very different art style. I guess it's because of the coloring. Maybe it's because of the coloring because I took inspiration from her on
Maybe,
the
maybe.
coloring. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. Last animatic I wanna ask you about actually. Your most recent one, the hot milk meme. Um, I just okay. I have two questions about this one. Are you- First, can you tell us real quick like what an animation meme is?
Okay. All right. The anime, and then I'm sorry. An animation, an animation meme is it's an animation. It's okay. It's not. It's a different thing as a meme. A meme is like a funny thing. Yeah, it's a very common thing. But animation meme is it's when animators uh do animate their own OCs or like another character on the same template as the original animation meme. So like hot milk meme, it's the original one is bopping and then like something happens on the beat on the bass drop and like a lot of another animator will do the same thing but with another character. So yeah, that's what an animation meme
Okay, okay, that makes sense. So, one last question I have to ask about the hot milk
is.
meme. Um, why did you make
um,
this?
okay,
What
okay.
horrible demonic spirit possessed you to create such a thing?
I don't know. I don't know. It just came to me one afternoon at 6 p.m. I was supposed to do my wait, no, not supposed to do my homework. There were no classes. I was just bored, I guess. And uh the Omni-Man meme keeps on going on my timeline on Twitter. So I was like, yeah, I think this is a dream thing to do with his big ass. So it's a huge meme in Dream Team Twitter. How Dream always has a huge ass, I guess.
Okay, okay, that's wonderful.
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
No,
I
I
am
love it. I
so
love it. It
sorry.
is so funny. I was actually before the podcast. I was watching like all of your animatics to research. I say in quotes, and my
Yeah.
roommate was in the room, and like I'm watching this on my
Oh
computer
no.
screen. You know, my big computer screen. I just like that started playing. I like opened that one having no idea what it was, and he looks and he was like looking for a second. He glances over, and I just look at him.
Oh. What did he say? What did he say?
Neither of us said anything, which I think is probably the worst possible outcome.
Yeah, that's the worst outcome then.
I did start laughing though, so it's probably okay.
Oh no. Oh no. These dream stands are wild.
Okay. Alright, to
Oh,
wrap things up.
I'm regretting it. I'm regretting it now.
No, 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 no. This is the best thing on your channel. No, no, trust me, trust me. This is a work of art. Belongs in a museum. Absolutely. Should have made the entire interview about that one. Honestly, I don't really know. I don't know what I'm doing here.
I don't know villains. I don't know the Alakin's hot milk meme.
Your
So,
magnum opus.
Aurodilla, what is your thought process while making hot milk memes?
What was the story you were trying to tell with hot milk meme? What were the themes and symbolism?
What is the hidden message?
What inspired you to make such an incredible form of art?
Yes, Sean. Yes, Sean. I just thought that big butts are very underrated.
You just
Actually, very overrated. Very overrated.
you just like big butts and you cannot lie, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, alright. To wrap this up, Aurodilla, do you have any advice for the other artists and general content creators at home who might be listening to this?
All right. You told me to ready these up. I put it in a sticky note. Wait, it's
Perfect,
loaded.
perfect.
I think I closed it accidentally. Oh no, I opened a lot of sticky notes. Oh no, that's a lot of sticky notes. Oh, okay, it's here now. Do your schoolworks. I know. I'm going to read this word for word. I don't care at this point. I know it's hard being a content creator and a student at the same time, but I promise do your schoolworks first, and then you're free to do anything you like without any stress afterwards. Also,
Hmm.
experiment with your art. Get out of your comfort zone and also have fun. I guess that's all.
Okay, awesome. Very good advice. Yeah, do your schoolwork. Very good idea. I bet a lot of you listening to this are
Honestly,
not. I know school just started, but
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
animating
yeah.
dreams, hot,
Do
sexy,
not
big
be like
ass is very
me.
important. But so is like calculus. All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Algebra. Do your earth science homeworks.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Aurodilla. It was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you also for inviting me.
Yeah.
I hope the viewers and your day is nice.
Welcome to Create Stuff, Amblerose Moon.
Do I say
That would work. Yeah. This is the time.
ah? Hello? I am here. I'm here. Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Okay, good to have you.
It is good to be here.
All right. So, Amblerose, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, I make animatics and ship posts sometimes on my YouTube channel that are just like mostly Dream SMP or any other fandoms that I'm in.
Okay, okay.
Mostly, yeah.
So, how did you get into making animations?
I got really into making animations when I was in middle school because in elementary school I was like watching YouTube all the time, and there was these content creators that were like making like animatics and animations, and I was actually in like either like a My Little Pony fandom and their Minecraft YouTuber fandom back then, and they always made like animations and animatics. I was like, wow, I want to do that. And then I started creating more when I had like the things I had, and then it just continued and continued till like now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. So, on your channel, one thing I've kind of noticed is a little bit more unique than most of the other people I've interviewed or that I've seen in general, honestly, is that you started about a year ago and you already have 60 animatics and you upload multiple, like, every month, even multiple a week sometimes.
Yeah,
Why?
because my brain wants to have things in the drawing and then it happened. No, I'm just kidding. No. Um no, I listen to a lot of music, and then I also watch the stream sometimes since they do at least some lore every month, right? And whenever I listen to music or the lore streams, I get really inspired to do like an animatic or like a shit post from it because I like because my brain likes to imagine like a full scale storyboard right there and there with the music happening. I'm just like, yeah, this goes with that, and this goes with that, and it would look so cool if it was like that. And that's why there's so many videos. There's so many videos.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little bit insane, I'm not gonna lie. Like, an insane amount
Yeah.
of production coming out. How long does it take you to make one, usually?
For like a ship post that's like a few seconds. I think it only takes like at least 2 hours.
Okay,
I
okay.
think. And then for like animatics that are at least like at least like 1 minute. I think they would at least take 2 to 3 days at least.
Okay, okay.
And
That's
then
a pretty
yeah, and then
small amount of
yeah.
time.
I honestly think it's actually a small amount of time because I get distracted a lot, but
Dang,
um
really?
yeah, I feel like I could be drawing every single hour and I could get the animatics like finished really early if I wanted to. I just get very distracted by like other things. The last animatic that I actually took no breaks on and actually focused on making it was actually I think it was when Wilbur was like blowing up L'Manberg. He was blowing up
Really?
L'Manberg and everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
dang, that
it's
was
like
a
I
while
think it's
ago.
like yeah, it was like 11 months ago. I think I don't remember. It's been so long. It's been a long time, but I think it's like 4 to 5 minutes, and it took me like at least 5 days or 6 days to make all of that.
Okay, and which oh, is that Wilbur's Unfinished Symphony?
Yeah, it's that one. It's that one. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So
That, that,
let me ask a similar question then. Actually, it's not a similar question. I don't know why I said that. Let me ask another question then. Which of these
all right.
which of your animatics are you like most proud of?
That's a very hard question to answer, but no, because like I love all the animacs that I made because it shows that I progress. Because like my earlier animatics are very like to me because they're drawn very messily, and then from now I think I've gotten better at drawing like a cleaner like cleaner line art and things. So I can't choose which one's my favorite because I love all of them.
Yeah, no, that's completely understandable. I get that.
Yeah.
But if you had to choose right now, like if I put a gun to your head and you had to choose,
Okay. Okay.
you could say multiple. You could say multiple.
I can say multiple. Oh, all right. I think the ones that I like was like the clever cookie one because it had animation in there a little bit in the beginning,
Okay.
right? Because it had like it took me so long to make the thing going by. I had to look at like animation references to see how to like do like the fade in thing. I don't know what it's called, but it just you'll see when you see it, you know.
I get you. I get you. I'm actually looking at Clever Cookie
Yeah.
right now.
Thank you.
That was
Thank
pretty
you.
cool. What on
I
Clever
know,
Cookie?
right?
What was like your goal with the colors there?
My goal was I just thought it looked cool. I just wanted to look cool. And I was like, what if I made a little bit of symbolism in there too? Because like I don't even know what the symbolism was. I thought I just associated Wilbur with like red more, and then Quackity was blue, and I just was like, yeah, I'm gonna put that in. And I shoved it in there. I was like, yeah, this works. This all works.
Okay, fair enough. I can honestly see the association. I
Yeah.
like it.
It's one of my favorites because of the animation.
Yeah, that's really cool. Have you considered doing more like animation focused stuff rather than animatics?
Oh, I wish, but the last time I did animation, like a real like very long animation, it's not on my channel because I actually deleted my channel before in middle school. Like no, not middle school, in like high school, and then I just deleted the channel and now it's back. I actually had this channel like 2 or 3 years ago, I think. And I only had like I only had like 3,000 subscribers, and then I deleted it because I got scared of Kappa.
Kappa. Sorry, I
Yeah,
don't know
Kappa
why
at
that
that
is
time.
like. I don't know why. Well, yeah, I don't know why my mind is blanking right now. But can you remind me what that is?
I think if I remember, yeah, because genuinely, it's been a while since I heard about Kappa, but Kappa was basically like, it was like a kid takeover. They were like, if your content is not for kids, and we deemed it as for kids, we're gonna fine you $1,000. And I'm just like, oh gosh,
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Oh my gosh, I
Yeah, and
forgot
I
about
was,
that. How did I
yeah,
forget
and I
about
was
that? Jeez.
terrified because they were putting like you know how they put like kid like animation as like a kid category because it's animation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my stuff, I don't think it was like my stuff was tame, but still, it was not for kids, right? So I was just like, I do not want to be fined. I do not want to pay money. I want to just exist. And then I just deleted my channel at that time. And then not,
Dang.
yeah, now it's back. Now it's back. It's been I had this channel for a year, but it was actually like a channel 2 to 3 years ago, but now it's back, you know.
Okay, okay. That's understandable. That is like super scary. Is that still something that like you have to worry about?
I don't think so anymore. Like I think it's calmed down after that.
Okay, okay, that's good.
I still don't like how they made it so kid code with everything, and now I can't even look at the comments anymore on the videos whenever I'm watching a cartoon. Sh-
Oh, that is the worst, man. So
it
annoying.
is. I just want to see what people's reactions are to just this one scene that I want to see, even though I watched it and formed my own opinion, anyways.
No, I totally get that. It is so frustrating. YouTube
It
ah,
is.
YouTube sucks, man. It's the
It
worst.
really does.
But anyways, back on topic.
I completely got sidetracked. I'm so sorry.
You're good. You're good. So
But
um, wait. So why why aren't you doing animations?
yeah, I got sidetracked so hard. Because it takes so long. It takes so long to animate. Because the last animation I've done, right, was like I think it was like 160 frames, right? I think it was
Jeez.
160 frames. It was only for like 10 seconds, and that pissed me off so hard. So I just stopped animation. I completely stopped animation. I was like, no, you know what? Not for me. I just stopped. No more.
Fair enough, I guess.
Yeah.
For most of like your more serious animatics, like the non-shitpost ones, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially like the ones that have songs associated with them. Is that more like you hear the song and then you want to do something with the song involving the Dream SMP, or the other way around?
I think it's like both, because whenever I hear a song, I just hear it for the song, and then it slowly goes into how can I connect both of these? And then it connects. And then I make it. Sometimes and then sometimes it's like another way, like I just like I know the song already, but then I know the song already, but I really want to make an animatic with like the fandom that I want to put in, and I'm just like, yeah, that's it. That's the ticket. And my god, it's created so many unfinished projects.
Okay. Interesting though. Why do you focus on the Dream SMP so much?
I don't know. My brain was like happy juice, and then now I just it's still the Dream SMP the entire time. I don't know. It's just like when you have like a very strong interest in something, you just want to keep making content for it. And since like the Dream SMP like offers a lot of like different like a lot of different variations. Like there's like sometimes there's like a horror aspect or like a psychological aspect. There's like so many different things happening in there, and it just keeps me
Mhm.
hooked. You know,
Yeah,
especially with
yeah.
the character dynamics. Yeah,
Okay, that's actually really cool. That's true. I do love that part of it.
they
Really,
all
like
they
anything that
all
happens.
interact so well. They
Mhm.
all interact so well with each other, and I'm just like, yes, this is this is powerful. And I just keep making more animatics for them.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Do you have any like particular scenes or anything like that in any of your animatics that like you're really happy with, or anything
Ooh,
you'd want to talk more about or expand upon?
that's very hard because
That is a
um
difficult question, I know.
it is very difficult because um I like to put like little details in like most of my animatics. A lot of my lore animatics too, right? Because I either put like a little like how their body language is or how they're reacting with it. Like if they're like in the background, they're reacting to it too, right? Or it's just a
Mhm.
little lore detail like oh they have like the rings on their horns like Tobo and Randu's characters. I put rings on their horns, right? To
Mhm.
signify like oh yeah they're married and everything, right? And I also put a little detail that for like as my own head because I also put my head canons in here myself, right?
Mhm.
Because it's my drawing. I can do whatever I want, but it's my liberty. It's my own decisions in what design I give them. And I put like a chipped horn for Tobo because he went through like everybody did not like Schlatt, right? And
Right.
I wanted to have he had like the horns like Schlatt too, so he wanted to like he tried to cut off one of his horns because of it
Ooh.
towards the end of his presidency. Yeah, I put that I because like because I back then like this because I liked putting giving characters like different designs every single animatic, Like they never had the same design. Sometimes they will, sometimes they don't, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because it keeps it more exciting for me because I don't want to get bored of drawing the same old design for the Dream SMP character to like you can interpret their like designs all the time in different ways. So I'm like, yes, potential, and it's so fun. It's so fun. So no character has the same design as always. Like Ranboo, I give him like 10 different designs all the time. Or like anybody, like Quackity sometimes has like his overalls, and then sometimes Quackity has like a jacket on. It's just like it's a variation. It's very fun, you know.
That's really
So it's
cool.
very yeah. So it's hard to like specify which ones are like which scenes I really want to talk upon because all of them have small little details, small body languages that say a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
expressions,
You think
you
you
know.
could
So
actually
it's
just like,
hard.
yeah, I get that. Do you think you could actually just keep talking about your character designs? Because that's really interesting to me.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's a really unique aspect of like the animatics that you do like a different design every time. That is super cool.
Yeah, because it's so fun. Like I get to because I have a secret Pinterest board, right? I have a secret Pinterest board. Nobody knows about it. Right? It's
Oh,
very
secret
secret.
info.
No
Let's
one
go.
knows. Let's go. Yeah. But it has like I have like an entire fashion pin, right? And I like using it a lot. I like using it a lot because I get to see like what kinds of designs I can give different Dream SMP characters because I like to keep it different. Like I really like to keep it different because I like to have fun with it, and then like sometimes people can go in and be like, and then go in like, oh, that's still the same character, you know? It's so fun to like put designs on the characters, but it's still recognizable because you still understand who that is, what the design is, you know? It's so it's delicious. It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I really love that. That's like really cool to me. And like you don't
Yeah.
just change the clothing, you also change like their actual physical attributes, right?
Yeah, I sometimes change
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Mostly with like I think I do this the most with like Dream too, right? Because I haven't drawn Dream in a while, but um I haven't drawn Dream in a while, but most of it's like for my headcanon for him. Like most of the time he has like long hair or maybe he has short hair, maybe he has a bun. Sometimes he has like a braid in his hair or maybe it's like a different type of like even clothing too. I give him different type of clothing. Like sometimes it's like a short jacket or sometimes it's a full jacket or maybe it's just like it's different or maybe he's just an entire orb, you know?
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you actually tell me more about the design of like of some of your other characters you haven't already talked about? Because this is very, very interesting to me.
Yeah, okay. Cuz like the most people I've drawn, right, is at least Tommy, Tobo, Ranboo, Dream. Oh, Technoblade! Technoblade! Oh my goodness. I forgot. Um his designs. It's very confusing for me because I'm still it's very confusing to me sometimes because I'm still trying to find like any clothing that would suit him, but hairstyle wise, it's still relatively long, but sometimes I give him a braid, or sometimes I give him like a ponytail, and the crown is sometimes like I think the crown stays like big. I think that's the only thing that stays at least the same as of right now. It stays the big. It's like it stays big on his head because it's his character trait. But um, he has like braided hair, sometimes very long braided hair, or just ponytail, or very just long hair, or he has like a different like a bend in his hair in the front, right?
Mm-hmm.
He still keeps like the I think he still keeps like the facial features that I gave him, the facial features, but that's all. I'm actually learning how to try to draw him as a pig this time for like a little bit of spice for the next animatics I'm making.
Okay, that's super cool.
Yeet.
All right. I really like that. That is like that's a I think that's honestly from who I've from who I've seen in the past, I think that's genuinely like just such a unique thing to do. Like have a completely different character design each time. It seems like most people usually stick to just one, but like you're changing a person's whole species in one of them. That's really neat to me.
Yeah, it's so fun. It just keeps it more like fun, you know. It's just something different every video.
Actually, one that I want to ask about that I just thought of. Bad Boy Halo and Skeppy's design, especially in like it's just a stupid egg Skeppy and
Oh, that one.
yeah, that, and then like how much it changes in the We Don't Have Children, or that's going backwards, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's because when we draw, I just wanted to have like a simple design because I was like I didn't know how to draw Bad Boy Halo as of that time, right? Because I was trying out different designs for him, and when the lore stream broke out about like Bad Boy Halo and Skeppy, I was like yes, I can do something with this. So they said that he was like 9 feet tall, and I was like 9 feet tall. I can work with this because like there's some animatics that show him as like the same height as Skeppy, but I was like, no, I'm gonna make this more wilder because when the video got out, everybody was just talking about why is Bad Boy Halo so tall? Why is Skeppy so tiny? Why is Skeppy so tiny? Huh?
I was
Oh
thinking the
no.
exact same thing. It looks like Skeppy's like a little figurine on the ground.
He's just a little guy. He's just a little guy.
I like it
Very
though. I
tiny
like it.
boy. Yeah, because we don't. He never specified what he like in the animatic. He's still the same height as maybe like he's like in real life, I guess. But I've honestly maybe would have made him tinier, but I don't think people would be able to see him because there's this running joke that he's like 2 feet tall and he's just like he's the size of a diamond, right? A diamond block. So he's like 2 feet tall. Oh. I don't think it would have fit in the I don't think it would have fit in the animatic because I mean it could have because he gets thrown off into like lava. It would have been so much easier for him to get in, but I was like, no, I'm just gonna keep it like that before anybody says anything about it. But a little detail in there that I actually want people to notice, but I haven't seen anyone say anything about it, right? Because it's been like 4 months. It's been a while since I checked on that video. But Bad Boy Halo, I think if I remember when I was designing him, I wanted him to have like different horns that happen, right? Because give me a second. I'm trying to go back into the video because it's been a while since I've seen it.
Dude, shoot! Now that you mentioned that, that makes complete sense. I didn't even register that, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Cause
Yeah.
Like at like 120 when he gets mad, like his horns just completely change.
Yeah, because I was like, oh my god, that was like the coolest thing I've designed in there. But another cool like detail I put in there because like when he gets really big and like super angry, he starts growing like 2 sets of horns, right? And also I put like white, like if you can see that he has like some white outline sometimes in the animatic, right? He sometimes has like white outlines in his horns when he gets angry.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah,
It's very cool
so
looking.
yeah, so I wanted to make him like show his emotions more, but like a little more subtly. So when he's still being controlled by the egg, right? During this entire animatic, he's still like under the control of the egg a little bit, but he's talking to Skeppy, and he's like, man, I don't think the egg's good for you, dude. And Skeppy's like, no, fine. And Skeppy's like, and Bad Boy Hill's like, no. And so the white represents like the control that the egg still kind of has on him, but the red is like the slight changes to red is him like having like his like own self back because he's still thinking about he still cares a lot about Skeppy. So his horns start turning like a lot more red because that's like his authentic self. That's him. The white is the egg, and then the red is like him feeling the emotion there, right?
That is a really cool detail. I love that. I didn't notice that at
Yeah,
first.
I wish people noticed it more because I was so proud of that. I was so smug about it. I'm like, yeah. It's like when you put like a little detail in like booklet. You know how you go in English class and you're like, the curtain was blue. Why was it blue? It was that feeling. It just felt like that feeling.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. I love that. Have you done something like that in any of your other animatics? 'Cause that's like especially what I want to talk about in this episode, actually.
Oh shit. I think I've kind of done things like that with Dream too, right? In one of the other anime, I cannot remember which animatics it was, but I think it was like in Dream's reappearance. I think in Dream's reappearance, but I don't think that's an entire like detail like as like subtly detailed, like because what I was doing for Dream's reappearance, I wanted to give him like I think this was the first time I drew like with an orb head because I was like this seems cool. This seems cool. I'm gonna put it in, and he just has the orb as like he's like talking coldly. He's distant with everybody. He's like talking from he's a cold person in that scene. But then he gets super angry, so he starts to become more human, right? And he starts threatening Tommy and Technoblade in that animatic, and I kept the eye design because that was the coolest shit that I put in his eye. Because this it's just like the little blob and shit, and then the little pupil in the middle of it. I thought that was cool. I thought that was very cool.
That is awesome. Looking at it right now.
I still kept it, and if you go onto my Twitter, I actually have an entire explanation about how Dream was because I never actually drew Dream before like his entire child manipulation arc, but he used to have normal orb eyes. Like he didn't have an entire blob pupil eye. He used to have just like a circle and then the pupil in there. That's when he was normal. But I had canon that maybe he got a little bit of the influence from the Dreamin' because there was like a Dreamin' arc before. There was like a Dreamin' arc. I don't know if it was canon or not, but I like to think it was canon. But Dream got like fucked up by like a Dreamin' or something, and Fundy and Tobo were like, oh no, and then Dream was fine after. But I like to think that maybe he had some influence from the Dreamin', and now in like he has like a blob now more than a circle, you know. And
Okay.
there's another thing in there. There's another thing. I made him a blob because he's actually more stronger in his blob form more. He's more stronger in his blob form more than his human form. And the little detail I wanted to put in there was that he's more cold. He's not as human because he doesn't feel human as a blob form. He's strong, he's distant, he's cold. And then when he becomes human, he becomes more vulnerable. He becomes like he gets angry, he gets mad, he can feel sad, everything, you know? So he's more vulnerable like that. And I actually have like a different dynamic with him in Technoblade. Right? I have a different there's like a different dynamic where Technoblade is like Technoblade still has he's still strong. He's still like as strong as in human form. He's more stronger in his animal form, but his like he can go back and forth in animal form, but he can stay in human form. But in my like head canon, he gets more animal like when he gets more vulnerable, when he gets more like scared, like a scared animal, you know? So he just becomes more animal when he gets scared sometimes, you know, a little bit frightened, a little bit of a wild situation, you know?
I see what you're saying. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Dream having like so many different like designs for different situations. That is super neat. Something I never would have thought
Very
of.
fun. It's very fun.
It's super cool. Anything else like that in your animatics?
I'm trying to think. Wait, I have this slight headcanon for Ranboo a little bit. Because I think I only have 3 characters that I have a little bit of a change within character sometimes, like a 2 change character. That's still the same character. It's just a little bit different, like, circumstances, I think. Which I like to think it is. Ranboo, I'd like to think that Give me a second. Oof. Ah. um, Ranbu has like Enderwalk, right? And everybody's been saying that. I've been seeing a lot of animatics about Enderwalk Ranbu being like evil, scary. He's more like Endermanish when he is. I'm just thinking here, like, what can I do that's the opposite of that? Because I'm so cranky. But um, he Enderwalk Ranbu in my headcanon, which is gonna be a little bit more evident through some of the drawings that I want to do for him, is that Enderwalk Ranbu is more fancier. He's more calculated, and for what Ranbu has said early in like about his lore, his character lore, Enderwalk Ranbu remembers everything. So that means Enderwalk Ranbu is more calculated and everything. You know, he's more like intelligent. So I thought it'd be funny if I made Ranbu when he's not in his Underwalk mode, more cozy, more like he wears stuff that are cozy, warm. He looks like a cuddly character, right? Like you would go talk to him if you wanted to, or like grab like a cup of coffee with him, And Underwalk Rambu is like this fancy man. He's like a CEO. He's a rich man. He's a scientist and everything. He's super smart and everything, but um and like there's other animatics that are like depicting him like hurting Michael or Tubbo, and I'm just like, no, he wouldn't, because there's this one scene. There's this one scene, if I remember, like in the live stream where Ranbu was there when Tommy and Tubbo got fucked up by Dream, and they went down to the fucking vault, and there was like the two discs, and they were like, what the fuck, man? And then there's an entire hallway of shit, and then the Skeppy cell was something else. That was weird. That was a weird thing that happened there, but I don't know if I should be concerned about it, but but it was so funny when I saw that god. They were so confused when they got there. They were like, a Skeppy cell? There's a Skeppy cell!
Oh,
There's a Skeppy cell!
Oh my gosh, that was weird. I remember that now. That was like
so
such
funny.
a shocking thing. Oh my gosh.
It was so funny, and everybody got confused too. Oh my god, that was specifically for Bad Boy Halo. But there was sidetrack. I'm getting sidetracked. Rambo was there during like the entire everybody was there like like they're like, hey Dream, we know what you did and everything, and Rambo was there. And if I heard earlier, Rambo was actually in his like sleepwalk, Enderwalk, right? And so that means that Rambo does care about Michael and Tubbo a lot. So I don't think of Enderwalk Rambo as like evil. He would do he like evil or like terrible to like Michael or Tubbo. No, he's just more calculated, more smart. He just remembers everything, and is like has different like he wants to do like different like what can I say? Because he did explode the community house. We all know that he exploded the community house, and then he did explode the prison. So he must have had some ulterior motives that we don't know about. So he's calculated and smart and has different motives that are not the same as character Ranbu. Like Ranbu when he's not enderwalking. Ranbu, he just wants to remember like what Enderwalk Ranbu wants to remember. And then there's experiments too, but we don't know because there hasn't been a lore stream for Ranbu in a while, so we don't know.
That's cool. I like that a lot. That is a really unique interpretation of Enderwalk Rambo.
It was also an excuse to draw him in fancy clothing.
Fair enough. I do like how he looks in the fancy clothing. It is very, very nice. I was actually going to ask you about
dapper.
That. Yeah, it's very nice. I noticed you use color in some of your animatics, like a lot, and not as much in others.
Shoot. There's a completely perfect explanation for that. I'm lazy. I'm lazy.
That's
no, okay, look. No, it's part of like laziness, part like I do want to put color in there, and there's another part where I don't really feel like putting color to it. I'm just going to make it blank, and I'm gonna run with it, because there's some animatics that I actually like wanted to like shade, but I thought I was like, no, I don't feel like shading it. So I was like, nah, you know what? I'm gonna throw it in there. So it's more of like whatever my brain feels like coloring or not, or shading.
Understandable, honestly.
Yeah.
Also, want to say real quick, I love that in Rambo causing a stir shit post, he has red and green socks.
Yeah,
So
I wish I had socks like those, honestly.
They're cool socks, man.
They are very cool socks.
Such a good detail. Do you have anything else you want to talk about, like in any of your animatics, any little details or anything like that you would like to expand upon? Maybe tell people anything else, like in the Bad Boy Halo animatic that people might not have noticed.
I think I already said everything about the Bad Boy Halo animatic.
Right.
Else
Like
animatics that I
like that.
Yeah, the Tobo Farewell one. I think people have actually caught on to most of the things I was putting in there, right? Because I wanted to make Tobo very very strong because like I'm sorry, other animatics were like absolutely beautiful. I love the animatics, right? But I saw Tobo as a character that he's very like he's not a very like in the emotion person. Like I wanted to demonstrate how different Tommy and Tobo are. Tobo is a more like logic type person, and Tommy is a more emotional person. So I made Tobo like not cry at all during the entire thing. I just wanted to make him look very tired, very like he's already accepting whatever the fuck's going on. You know, he's about to die, but he's just like life goes on and shit. You know, I put him like tired bags.
He's
put,
about
like,
to die, but life goes on and shit.
Yeah, life goes on. Yeah, because he was basically saying that. It's like, Tommy, life will go on, man. Don't worry, it's all good. I'm gonna die, but you know, it is what it is. You know,
It just be that way sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, just as any 16-year-old boy would do in a death situation. Yep, let's go. But God, but I really like drawing Tobo during this one because I really like demonstrating the difference between Tobo and Tommy because Tommy is a very emotional person and Tobo's trying his best to be strong because he had to go be a spy for Schlatt the entire presidency, and then he had to rebuild an entire country by himself with the help of other people, but the other like Crackety, Fundy, or like I can't remember if there was another person, but uh but they also kind of manipulated him too, you know, because like he was just trying his best as a president. So he went through all this shit, and he couldn't really be in his emotion. He had to keep thinking of logic the entire time. He had to make logic based decisions because he didn't have time to dwell in his emotions. So in the animatic, I really wanted to show that he is trying to act strong for Tommy. There's like some instances where he folds like his hand behind his back, right? But he's actually like shaking inside because like he doesn't really actually want to die, but he doesn't want to make Tommy like feel like it's his fault. Like there's sometimes that he looks like it like he is shaking. He's putting like he's not he's like closed off. He's like putting his arms inside himself. He puts his hand behind his back. He's like it's just more closed movements. While Tommy is like more open. You can see that he's like hand gestures and everything, or he's like grabbing onto Tobo and everything, you know, more he's clingy.
Mm-hmm. I like
Just
that a
more
lot.
like
That's a
just
really cool
subtle
detail.
differences. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Really showing like the psychology of the characters through how they move. That is super neat.
Yeah, it's very fun because I delve into like I really look into their characters a lot. Most of the time, I'm because like I want to understand what their motives are, right? Because I'm like, why would they do this? How are they like? How would they react in that type of situation? You know?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, what's another animatic that I put into play there? I think the Wilbur Filza one is one where because I remember this one scene I was struggling to like how am I gonna make that look okay, like not because like Filza laughed in like the in the middle of the lore. He started laughing laughing a little. He was laughing a little. I was like, oh no, what? How am I gonna how am I gonna put that in? And I think I was able to put it in more like as like Phil's trying to reassure his kid because that's his kid. He really cares about his kid. He's not like he's kind of a bad dad in the Dream SMP lore. It's very well, but I wanted to make him look like he's trying to reassure his kid. He's trying to be like it's gonna be okay. I don't know what the hell you've been doing in your weird role play presidency shit. I don't know what kind of litters you've been. I don't know why you fucked a fish. Um, but but because he's just saying his kid have like a mental breakdown, right? And you're just like it feels like it's just like what am I gonna do? So I wanted to make him seem like he's like more reassuring his kid, and then it just seems like if like a father and a son talking, and he's having a mental breakdown. You know, it's just more of like a father dynamic, not more like Phil's gets angry at him and everything. Phil's is more like, oh, you know, it's gonna be okay, all right, it's fine. Just get away from the button. I don't know what you're doing.
Okay, that's cool. I like that a lot. Which animatic is that?
The Wilbur's Unfinished Symphony one.
Oh, okay. I like that. It's super cool. Okay. Let me just ask you this then. Do you have any advice for other artists or content creators out there who are looking to make their own stuff?
Have fun and remember to not stress yourself out when you're making content. Never, give me a sec. Never like care about the views too much or if like nobody's watching it because I even struggle sometimes because I'm like, who's gonna even watch this sometimes? Or like, is this video even worth making if nobody's gonna watch it? No, as long as you're having fun. It all matters in having fun. If you're having fun with the video, then yeah, make it. It doesn't matter who's watching or it matters if it makes you happy. You know?
Okay, cool. Perfect. Actually, one thing I wanted to ask, kind of relating to that, what's the amount of videos you pump out? I kind of wanted to ask, do you ever feel like pressured to keep getting stuff out, like keeping stuff going in a constant stream of content?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a struggle because um because uh because I've always like from like a year ago till like now I've been pumping out videos every so often, and I've actually haven't had time to like draw my own stuff because I'm always making videos all the time, right? And since the YouTube algorithm is not it has no mercy for anybody. um I'm afraid that I'm gonna like lose all the views that I have because if I'm not posting like at least like daily, like at least like weekly or like monthly, I'll lose all of the views I have. But I'm trying to unlearn that because genuinely I really enjoy making videos. I just don't enjoy the time constraint that I put myself on to make those videos.
I can understand that. It seems super stressful.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? I think once you are able to like once you're able to like finally like have the mindset that it matters on what you want to create, it doesn't matter who's watching as long as you're having fun. I think people will benefit more from that than like worrying about the views and everything because it's just numbers, honestly.
Okay. Well, good stuff.
I mean, yeah.
Good.
And you know, as long as like sorry.
No, you go on.
Yeah, because like it's also like because like a lot of people say that they really like my art style, and all I hope is just that it's just that as long as I'm having fun and at least I'm inspiring people to like make animatics or like maybe like make their own stuff, I think I'm happy enough with that.
Okay, cool. I'm happy to hear that. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
That actually gives me another question I want to ask real quick. What is your
Alright.
like plan for your channel?
My plan for my channel is to at least try to like balance what I want, like balance my video schedule because and like how many videos I make every week because I have like 10 different projects and I still need to finish them. But my plan is to try to like still create animatics and everything, but I want to try to make other fandom animatics too because I've actually been trying to see if I can actually make an Amori animatic. Right? Because because I was like, I heard this one song and I really wanted to make it Amore animatic, and I really wanted to like put a lot of effort into it because like Amore is a very good game. It's a very good game.
Right, agreed.
My plan for the channel is just still do whatever I'm doing, have fun, still make content creations of like of fandoms that I'm in, and just at least draw too, because I've been lacking drawings on my social medias, and I really want to draw again, like draw colored illustrations again.
Okay, cool. All right, well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Amblerose. It was really good.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Insert good intro here. Welcome to the podcast, Cowokie.
Wait, what?
we are recording. That's the intro. I'm tired of trying to do these.
Okay,
that's the
intro. There you go.
Something transition. Hello, Cowokie. Welcome to the podcast. Say hello.
Hello. Hi.
All right, Cowokie, would you please tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Basically, I am a streamer, artist, and a YouTuber, kind of, whatever. But I like to make animatics. I like to draw. Everything I do revolves around drawing, so that's kind of the gist of what I do. For now, I'm super into Dream SMP, and like half my animatics, all of them basically, are Dream SMP related.
What I especially wanted to talk to you about today was your Dream SMP animation, Dream SMP PMV, I suppose I should say, Babushka. So, could you tell me, just like from your own words, what Babushka is about and what it is?
So, Babushka is an animatic that specifically focuses on the character of Dream, and it's not necessarily fully canon, but it's just a bunch of headcanons thrown together and just like to make I wouldn't say I'm a Dream apologist or anything, but just to make an understanding of what his character could be like on the Dream SMP. It basically just follows it follows how he is as a character. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it other than creepy or something like that, or to do with just like ooh trauma or ooh manipulation. That's basically like the gist of the Babushka animation.
Okay, very cool. So, what events? Actually, no. I guess you kind of. Well, actually, no. I'll ask anyways. What events do you cover in Babushka?
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna scroll through it just like slightly as well, because it's been a while.
Yeah, no rush.
So, the burning of the community house, the exile arc. What else? A lot of it's to do with him and Tommy. The invitations, and then I insert like a little backstory. It's not fully canon, but it's kind of stuff that like people pick up, like the idea that Bad Boy Halo was there, Sapnap was there, George was there from the beginning. Actually, like the one character who wasn't there from the beginning was Captain Puffy, but I just added that in because I thought it was cute. What else is here? Doomsday is here. The burning of Lamantry, the Disc War, and I think the rest of it is just focused on the final Disc War and how he affected people still when he was still in prison, when he like eventually got in prison. That's kind of the gist of it.
Okay, very cool. So, why did you choose the song Babushka?
Oh, okay. Okay. The thing is, when it comes, this is kind of leaning into like how I come up with my animatics. I choose the song first, and then after that, I think of a story to put with it. The song is what I based it off. Babushka specifically, the reason was because, okay, fun fact. Every time I would go to school, I'd have to go on this long train and everything. And I had like a really small playlist. And one day I forgot that I had my playlist on repeat, and it just played Babushka over and over and over and over again. I didn't even realize it. And then that song kind of got just stuck in my head. And then at that same time, I got super into the Dream SMP, and then I was just like, ooh, okay, let's just add these two together.
Cool.
And I like how it sounds. A lot of the songs I choose are from TikTok.
No, that's fair.
You can find the good edit songs.
I mean, there's a reason they become popular there. Like, come on, you know?
True.
So, by the way, I love the song Babushka now, and I found it through your PMV, and I could not be happier.
Ooh.
Why did you use a slowed version of it?
Oh, I feel like it was creepier when it was slowed down. I'd say.
Definitely
Like,
agree.
the fast one has, yeah, it has like a, because I've listened to Babushka slowed so many times, when I listen to the real one, like the original one, it's too fast for me. I like the slow vibe that it gives, where it's just like, ooh, that's creepy. Especially the ending bit.
Right, definitely. I actually completely agree with you. When I first went to listen to like Babushka on Apple Music, I was like really surprised at how like different it sounded from the slowed version. I definitely highly prefer the slow version too.
Same. It's just so much creepier. I love creepy stuff.
Yeah, man, it's great. It's also really cool when a song can do something like that.
Yeah.
So, in Babushka, okay, actually, let me ask this: why is it a PMV rather than an animatic or an animation?
It's a PMV mainly. So I had a few comments because I used to name every single one of my works animatics because it's the internet. You kind of just chuck it up there and like, oh, it's an animatic and stuff. But then I had people complaining in my comments that it was a PMV, not an animatic, and they seemed really pressed about it. And at first, I was gonna be like, no, who cares? And then they kept commenting on the other videos after that, so I just changed it. I ended up changing it to PMV, and I guess it makes sense.
You bent to their will. Come on, man. You actually listen to your commenters. What are you doing?
Actually, on the topic of commenters, I tend every time someone asks a question, I have the tendency just to like completely ignore it, even if it's just innocent question, like, oh, like, is this that character or something? I ignore it. I don't know why.
Why?
Oh, your mic cut out for a second,
Oh,
but I don't know why. I think it's because my brain just tells me that someone else is going to answer it, because some people do that.
Fair enough. So, are there any scenes in Babushka that like you're really proud of, or like that you would say are your favorite out of the whole thing?
I feel like, yeah, okay. I feel like this specific answer is kind of obvious because I really like that one bit that's animated. The one animated bit,
With Rambo?
like with Rambu and Tommy. Ooh, that's my favorite bit because I think because I streamed. Actually, I didn't stream the entire process of this, but most of it was streamed on my Twitch and everything. And at one point, I was like actually tired of the animatic. I didn't want to do it. I got really bored. But then I was like, let's add a small animated bit at that last second. And when I did it, it kind of just like made me speed run the rest of it, as in like it made me want to draw again, like the rest of this animatic. So that's my favorite bit because it's on time and you don't like. I tried to after releasing Babushka, I waited I think a few days or something to completely erase it from my brain and rewatch it. And I was like, wait, that's a cool scene. That's a cool scene. I think it's because I also added voices in.
Yeah, I'm really happy you added the voices in. That made it like so much like cooler. It gave me like, oh my gosh, the part at the end where everybody's like, where it's everybody reacting to Tommy's death with like death, not death, reacting to Tommy's death with like the sound of like the play, like whatever is breaking, like the glass breaking sounds in Babushka. Oh, that sends shivers down my spine every time I hear it. I love it. So
Fun
good.
fact, I actually scared myself drawing that last panel where this mask is coming off. It was like 3 a.m. in the morning and I was drawing it. And I think I went outside and I came back and I looked at the screen and I was like, what the hell am I drawing?
Nice. That
It
is like,
scared me.
oh my gosh, his eyes there are terrifying. Speaking of eyes, by the way, I've noticed you have quite a knack for drawing them.
Oh, with
Or at
drawing
least an
eyes? No,
interesting
I
way of
guess.
doing it.
Oh, really? Oh, I never noticed that.
When you draw eyes normally, they're like, they're good. They're very good. But I more mean, especially, there's some scenes where, like, the eyes that you draw just show, like, an insane amount of emotion. Like, a lot more than eyes normally would. Like, when, Oh, in the
Ooh.
beginning when Tommy, like, when Dream is kind of comforting Tommy, and like he has that one look in his eyes, everything kind of goes into like these red images, and like Tommy turns to face Dream a little bit with his eyes. You know what I'm talking about?
Ooh, yeah, I got you. Oh, yeah.
That is so cool. And like again, when Tubbo is like saying for Tommy not to worry about him, you can see his eyes like it's just, oh my gosh, that is my favorite scene in the entire thing, when Tubbo's eyes are shown like that, and with the red background around like 2:13 in the video, I think.
Roughly. That specific frame, I remember specifically drawing that on stream, and I was asking everyone in chat, like, how do I make it look like he wants to kill Dream? How do I make it look like that, you know? Yeah. That's actually really comforting to hear, because my favorite thing when it comes to drawing is to make sure the audience, or like the people looking at my art, can feel what I'm trying to portray. That's like my biggest thing.
Oh yeah, you did an
It's
awesome
so
job of that.
fun.
Oh my gosh, the eyes are so
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah, of course. Really reminds me of, okay, this is really a stretch, but have you ever read I Don't Want This Kind of Hero?
I don't think I have. I'm just gonna.
It is a incredible
What's it called
webcomic.
again?
I Don't Want This Kind of Hero. I will send you the name. It is a Korean webcomic. Honestly,
Ooh.
I'm saying this. Actually, I'm not going to say that. I'll wait until after the podcast to say that. It is really good. Your
No, it's all
honestly,
good,
your
it's all
art
good.
style, like the way you drew your eyes, really reminded me of that. Because the way they draw eyes in that, like, really hits home. I doubted you at.
I can see it.
Yeah, like
No, I
there is
haven't
some
read
scenes
it, but I can see it definitely.
Right. They're like, I more mean like the way you draw your eyes with like a lot of emotion though. Like when you do that, there's some scenes in that webcomic that really do that, and like it just like it pierces my soul, like how Tubbo does in this one scene. Oh my gosh, this podcast is just turning into me fanboying over here.
No, it's fine. Do it. I'll do the same. Same.
Okay, good. This is what we want. Okay, let me
Would
ask.
Yeah. You go.
Okay. Are there any other scenes in Babushka that like you're really, really happy with?
I am so happy with the scene where Puns comes out of the portal. It's very satisfying to me.
Oh, that
The
is such a
scene
good
where
scene.
it's like, yeah, where it zooms in on the portal and then it zooms out on Puns, and then you see and then everyone else. Especially the leading up to it, because it's super slow. I don't know. I feel like with Babushka, there's a lot of lead up to that specific scene, so that's why I really liked it. Because like it's like dun dun dun. Even the music is where it's the height of it. So then seeing that one scene and everyone knows what's happening is just like, oh wow, that's so cool. Yeah,
It is so
it's
good,
my
man.
favorite scene.
I love that. It matches the lyrics so well. Like it lines up with them just so perfectly. That was good.
Yeah.
That was a good scene. I love
I
that.
actually had to cut out some bits, not of the lyrics, because I didn't want anyone making it weird. I forgot when it was. Oh no, that's a different animatic. I'm completely different, thinking of something completely different. Oh my bad. But I cut some of the lyrics because I wanted. I don't know. I feel like I just wanted to get to that point. I cut. You'll notice in a lot of my animatics, I cut a small portion of the song because I don't know what to draw there. So it's just like, let's just ignore that it exists.
I noticed that actually. Like I only noticed it after listening to Babushka like 20 times over, though. To be fair.
That's fair.
That's interesting, though. I never had any idea that happened. Like my first maybe 5 or 10 watchings. So yeah.
That means I blended it well. So
Yeah.
ooh, phew.
I noticed that there are a lot of points in Babushka where like you use color design in like some very interesting ways. I kind of wanted to ask about that more. Like what you were going for with that. If there's anything hidden there.
I feel like, okay, with the color design, it's not specific to Babushka, because in general, I don't feel, I wouldn't say not comfortable, but I prefer using wacky colors for things that are like for example, the sky is not always orange. It's normally blue, or like the grass is green. And I mean, sometimes I'll use normal colors, but I think in general, I really like using color palettes, like keeping to a specific color palette. That's like my favorite thing to do.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I noticed
Yeah.
that you
Also,
use...
actually,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh, sorry. Do you watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Bro, I was actually about to ask you if you watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. This gives
Oh my
me big
gosh,
part 4
yeah.
vibes with the color schemes, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love that. I was about to ask you that. Dang.
Yeah, no. I have a lot of my inspiration comes 100%, because I like the way Araki thinks in terms of like his characters don't have set color palettes, you know? You can tell that they're the same characters, but just throw in random color palettes. I love that. I love how he colors the sky in part 4. I just like wacky colors in general.
Yeah, man. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is like the best for that. And I think you did really well with that too. It makes everything so much more interesting. Like the blue trees and the yellow sky and the scene with Puffy, Bad Boy Halo, Sapnap, George, and all of them playing. That's cool. I also wanted to say, I really liked how you designed your trees there. It kind of reminds me of Dr. Seuss.
Actually, I can actually like Dr. Seuss. I've actually never really compared it to Dr. Seuss, but I do see it. But it's more so. Have you watched Disney's Sleeping Beauty?
I have not. Well, actually, I probably have, just not in a very, very long time.
Oh, that's fair. It's an old movie. I don't remember anything other than the fact that I really liked their trees. That's a fun fact. I'll send you some of the concept art, but
Yes, please do.
I think it's because there's this artist behind it all, and I just looked at the trees and I was like, that's what I want to do with my life, you know? I actually talk about it a lot on stream. I did an entire stream where I was just drawing trees. It's my favorite thing to do.
Okay, very cool. One other thing with color design I noticed is that there are some parts where like characters, instead of being like fully colored, they just have one like color representing them. Like in the scene where Tommy is like on the ground and Dream has his hand on his back, or when Dream, Tommy, and Tubbo all are entering the bunker. Is there like a specific reasoning for how you did that, for what colors you chose there, or?
It actually changes with why I do it. On one hand, it's because like, I think it would look cooler if I used a sudden bright red for one of the characters, and then like you can color block it and you can tell it's Dream because it's Dream because it's green, it's Tommy because it's red. And that sometimes is the reason, but on the other hand, it's maybe because I'm too lazy to color. You know.
Fair enough.
It could be that.
You should always assume the first part, I think. First option.
Yeah, it's on purpose. Of course.
It's all very symbolic. It's all very symbolic and important to the story you're trying to tell, right? On like in the scene where Tommy, Dream, and Tubbo are like first entering the like Dream's bunker, I noticed that Dream and Tubbo are both green. Is there like anything? Is there a specific reason for that? Is there like some symbolism there?
It's funny because I colored it first, and I thought the greens were different enough to be able to differentiate that I did it because Tubbo's like main color is kind of green. Then later on in my head, I'm just like, oh no. And then later on, I told myself that I would tell everyone that the reason I did that is because Tommy was going to be like the main focus, and because at this point, when it came to the Discord and everything hinged on whether Tommy made a decision or not. So I kind of wanted like it to be like, oh, bright red Tommy, you know, he's gonna this blah 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 blah. But other than that, I just wanted to color him green. I don't know, or red.
Fair enough. Green is a very Tubbo color, to be fair. Like that's definitely the color that comes to mind when I think of Tubbo.
I think I didn't differentiate the greens enough to make it look like I just color blocked all of them, though. But it's all good. People still enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, like I kind of like it, honestly. I think you could read into it a little bit there, and I kind of like it when there's a chance for you to put your own meaning into something. You know?
Mm-mm. Yeah.
So, are there any like hidden details within the animatic that a lot of people haven't noticed or anything like that?
Ooh. I feel like it's. Oh yeah. Okay. So no one's. I'm pretty sure people have noticed it, but no one's mentioned it. I think my favorite detail was the fact that I put fiance rings on both Sapnap and Quackity. No one really talked
Oh
about
my
it.
gosh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, no one
How did
really
I not
talked
see
about it,
that?
which makes sense. All goods. Actually, one detail that I'm really so happy someone finally mentioned, because actually they mentioned it only like a day ago, and I was so excited when someone finally mentioned it. Was that when it came to everyone showing up in the final disc war room or something, you'll notice that everyone's standing in a line, but Quackity is behind everyone. And that's because during that time, Quackity was naked. He didn't even have any armor on. And I was just like, maybe I'll just make that a detail, you know? Quackity's just naked in the background. And only
That is
recently
so
someone
good.
mentioned that.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. Hold on, I'm looking at it right now. I need to see this. I did. Wait, no, I did notice this. I did notice this. Oh my gosh. I love that so
Hey.
much. That is so good. That's such a good detail. Oh my gosh. Is there anything else like that?
um, I want to know if there's any funny details, but other than that. Oh yeah, there was the flash in the beginning. The very beginning. Yeah, but I removed it later. We could go talk into that if you
No, go on. I'm curious. What are you talking about?
So in the beginning, when I first released this thing, there was this running joke on my Twitch channel called Baldnoblade, where it was just Technoblade, but he was bald. And so I flashed it in the beginning, and at the end, there's an X, like the creation of it all, right? But I recently removed it because of certain news, and I would have kept it up if it weren't for people coming back into my. This is like a touchy subject, but like I would have kept it up if it weren't for people coming back into my comments. Me like, oh sorry, Discord cut out. People came to my comments and were commenting things like, oh, you told the future, oh, this didn't age well. They were just making fun of it, so I removed the entire joke. That was like, ooh, that's a fun fact about Babushka.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I gotta be honest with you. I think removing that might have been your best bet there.
Yeah, I'm glad I removed it so quick. I removed it so quick. Like, I've never edited that fast. Yeah.
Good thing. Jeez.
Yeah.
Funny on its own,
It just
though. Funny on
sucks.
its own.
Yeah, on its own as a joke, because he's made that joke a long time ago anyway. It was a running joke in the community, but just, I don't know. I did it for the sake of just not having to combat people saying shitty things underneath my comments.
Right, right. And, like, you don't want people thinking that's what you're implying anyways.
Stuff like that. That coupled with, like, the joke doesn't feel funny anymore when it just,
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Are there any, like, bits of character design you, like, want to talk about that you were, like, really happy with?
Now that I think about it. Oh yeah, okay, so you know how in the beginning bit, whatchamacallit, it's a zoom in of all these, not zoom ins, but like the camera's just panning through a bunch of different characters. That was me, not flexing, but me just showing that, like, oh, these are the designs I want for these characters. Because some of these characters are characters who showed up after the Discord. I like Hannah's design. Bad Boy Halo's design is one of my favorites. What else? Bits of character design. I really just went for kind of the fanon idea of what they look like. Ooh, Dream specifically, people have pointed it out, and I don't mind because they're right. What's his name again? Dr. Doom from Fantastical Four or something.
Mhm.
People pointed out Dream looked like that, and I was like, you know what? I can't be fair.
Nice.
Another character design. Yeah, people were pointing out it looks like Dr. Doom, and I'm like, yeah, fair enough.
I like how you drew Ghostbear.
Ghost. Oh, I miss Ghostbear so much. Thank
Dude,
you.
same. Yeah, but like I think it's really cool that he's like literally fading into the background.
I made it like I tried to airbrush the colors to make it look like he was opaque or something. So I'm glad that shows.
Right,
Heck
right,
yeah.
yeah. The effect comes through really well.
I can't think on the top of my head though of like any specific designs. Actually, no. One of my favorite designs is also Sam's because I think it just looks cool. Other than that, nothing really else.
Sam does have a really cool design. I do like that. I noticed that like Tommy and a lot of other characters have like very pointed ears, like elves.
So many people have pointed it out, and they want an explanation. But the only explanation I can give them is that I like pointy ears. I like the. That's all I know. It's a fun detail. It gives detail. It gives way into people theorizing what Tommy is. Because, you know, pointed ears, non-human. I guess ever since getting into the Dream SMP, I have loved drawing non-human. Dream SMP has turned my brain into, like, hybrid brain. It melted it.
Dude, oh my gosh. Same thing happened to me. Like, I recently just started writing a new story, and I literally, like, all of the characters are now hybrids. Like, it doesn't make any sense that they are. They just are because I think it's good. I think it's more fun. Oh man,
exactly.
Last guest on the podcast, like last guest on this episode, actually, literally said pretty much the same thing. Makes it so much more.
Oh my gosh, it's happening to everyone. It's slowly just spreading.
And the funny thing is, like, no, I don't think like what characters on the Dream SMP are actually canonically hybrids.
There's actually no like full-on canon. Actually, no. No one's fully said it, but we all were just like, "You're a hybrid," you know. It's like
it's all fanon.
You haven't said
like,
it.
Rambo,
yeah,
I guess, sort of, maybe.
Technoblade.
Technoblade. Yeah. Okay, Technoblade.
Yeah. Oh, Philza. Actually,
cool
no.
fanon.
Philza. I don't know if it's canon or not that he has wings. I mean, is it?
I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure that's fanon.
Well, whatever Sadist says, I believe in my heart. So, there you go. Sadist is my canon.
Fair enough. Fanon is better than canon anyways, come on. We're the ones who are really making this story, let's be honest here.
Exactly. Really pushing it.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the idea that there's only like 3 humans on the server. Because can you imagine that? Everyone's got these cool stuff. Like, everyone's like a demon, a time traveler, a piglin, and there's just like one human. I don't know. I like that idea. It's funny.
Jack Manifold's like there, you know. He's a gamer. That's his species.
No, he's just a Twitch streamer. You know, that's his whole character. Like, in game, he's a Twitch streamer.
I love that. Is that actually what his canon is?
No, but I've seen people point it out. It's fun.
Oh, I like that. I've never actually thought of it that way, but that makes so much more sense than like anything else.
You know what this all reminds me of? People ask Sapnap what his character was, and he's like, "No, it's a human," and everyone just completely ignored him, and we're like, "No, you're a fire demon."
But fire demon is so much cooler. Come on.
Yeah, that's everyone was like, "Come on, Sapnap, you want to be a fire demon? Come on."
Come on, you know you want it.
Yeah.
Okay, did you have anything else on Babushka you wanted to talk about?
Babushka specifically. I feel like there's a lot of things that people point out about, but like it kind of just goes over my head. Was there any small details that you'd like to talk about? Because I feel like I could just answer things. I don't remember too much about Babushka, other than like
look through it a little bit and see what I've seen.
Oh, goods.
There are definitely, like, this is so full of small details. I think that's really neat. I do like that, like, Technoblade, kind of... Oh, is Technoblade actually, like, looking at Dream? And that one scene when they're on, like, they're dropping TNT? Actually, now I'm looking at it again. I can't really tell if he's actually looking at Dream or not.
I think I intended for him to be looking at Dream, like, untrustworthy, but you know. Yeah, he's looking at Dream. Yeah. Fun thing about techno, I I was telling myself it's like, oh, this has nothing to do with techno and everything, but I realized in every animatic I want to include him. He's like my favorite character in every like I just like have to include him somewhere in the animatic.
He is an awesome character.
Mm.
So cool. Such a cool design too. Such a cool fanon design, really.
Oh, the fanon designs are amazing. I can't choose my favorite. I really can't.
Right. There's just so much good, you know?
Yeah, it always changes. I think for me, my canon is that he can turn into a pig as well, because the pig designs are insane. Like the hog ones, where like it's a huge guy with glasses and everything, and has a huge cape and everything. I love that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've seen those. I love that. That is so cool.
They're so fun.
It is, man. It is.
But yeah.
I also really like the
Babushka.
ones where it's like he's wearing a pig mask, sort of. I like that a lot.
Those ones are funky. I love that. Or you know Wolfie Wolfie with the witch, right? Their Technoblade with the skull, like the pig's skull mask, that's awesome.
Yeah. Actually, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, one of my favorite. I love Wolfie.
My last question for you, Cowokie. Do you have any advice for any other artists or content creators that might be listening in?
Ooh.
You can take your time to think of this one if you want
Advice?
to.
Okay. Advice specifically for art? I feel like I can sum it all up in one go. It's just like, whatever you do, make sure you are your biggest fan. I've been told that multiple times, and it's like it's such a big thing to be your biggest fan when it comes to drawing, because if especially it's actually really prevalent to people who are artists for Dream SMP or Minecraft YouTube in general. I've noticed a lot of them struggle with keeping up with drawing with the Dream SMP, and they don't have to. But deep down, they feel like they have to, because a lot of their audience comes from it. But at the end of the day, my biggest advice when you're drawing, if you're making animatic, be your biggest fan. So you hype yourself up. So you care about what you draw instead of caring about what other people draw. Instead of caring about how other people view your art and everything. That's my biggest advice.
Cool. Very good advice. All right.
Yeah, it gets to you. Dream SMP.
Right. I feel like that applies to like any other type of art too. You know, not just actual art.
Definitely.
Right. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Cowokie. It was a pleasure to have you.
No problem.
Yeah. Let me just say.
Thank you so much for interviewing me. Oh yeah, sorry,
Of
what?
course. This one was super fun. And let me just say to the audience real quick, it was super fun to do. This is the last one. It was super fun to do this special episode. I'm really hoping to do something like this in the future. It's such a shame that I have to end it here and not have any more of these incredible animatic creators I'm one on. But yeah, I only had room for 5 on this one. Just kidding, I'm doing a part 2. See you guys next time! Hey, thanks so much for watching the 8th episode of the Create Stuff podcast all the way through. This one was a bit long, but I think for good reason. Also, I hope you enjoyed that fake out there. I will say, Cowokie definitely did not expect that, and it was their reaction, their laughter, that was genuine. I decided to leave it in because I thought it was funny. But yeah, I'm doing this again, hopefully with more, like 5 more animators, might be 4, depends on how many of them I can actually get to say yes. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be super fun. Also, I want to say, you may have noticed that my intros / transitions throughout the entire episode were kind of, you know, like, bad. Yeah, sorry about that. This is, like, so different from what I usually do, and even, like, I'm still not even that used to what I usually do, so, you know, I'm learning. Yeah, you're gonna have to deal with that for a little bit. Later down the line, when we do more special episodes like this, you know, that'll be normal. Oh, and also, we will be returning to our regularly scheduled programming relatively soon. However, depending on how you guys feel about like this format of episode, I might be doing this more in the future. I'm not really sure yet. I'm definitely not going to like do away with the solo interview style at all. But like, I don't know. I feel like I might do this more often because this was genuinely very fun. Before I do the Patreon shoutouts and the other stuff that I do all the at the end, all the shilling and stuff, I want to actually start doing a new little segment on these episodes where it's just me talking, and I just want to like kind of promote some things that my friends are doing that I think is cool. I'm gonna have like 3 or 4 things on every episode that I just shout out real quickly. So yeah, these will all be linked in the description, of course, but I would really love it if you guys could check these out, and I think you'll enjoy them. First one, my friend Riptide Not the Song, also known as Lost Boy Art on Instagram, is doing commissions to raise money for cancer research. I got a commission for them. If you've watched my streams, you'll notice I have a little, if you've watched my streams recently, I should say, you might notice I have, my chat is like in a little kind of robot thing. That's actually my representation of my chat called Saxy, that if you can go and watch episode 5, I think. I don't know if we actually talk about it in the episode or not. I don't know if I cut that out. That might have been in like after the podcast was over on stream, but essentially in Le Manberg the Musical they have these chats for every streamer, like a representation of their chat as a character, and they made a chat for me, which is Saxy. When I say they, I mean the musical in general, Le Manberg the Musical crew. They made that for me. Riptide, I asked them to do a commission of Saxy with just their head, so I could put the chat in it, and since, you know, Saxy's my chat, it's a clever little thing, I think. Second one, Trashy Inferno released their song Our Le Manberg on Spotify, and they're currently trying to get it to 10,000 listens. They're at like about 8,000 now. If you guys would go and just give it even 1 listen, that would help a lot. And the song is just really, really good. There's a link to that in the description. I have a Spotify playlist called Very Cool Music, where I just put like songs that my friends have made. There's like just Our Le Manberg in it at the time of me recording this, but I'm planning to add more in the future, so you know. You'll probably see that playlist multiple times as I'm talking in these little segments here. But seriously, go check out Our Le Manberg. It's really, really good. Even if you don't like the Dream SMP, I would go check it out. But also, how are you still here if you don't like the Dream SMP? Last thing I want to mention, this has been out for a bit now, but Le Manberg the Musical, first chapter is not out. I almost said first chapter is out. That would be a lie. The trailer for the first chapter, however, is out. You should go check that out. Link is in the description. And if by some like chance the musical is the chapter 1 of the chapter 1 of the musical is out at the time of me recording this, that will also be in the description. Not at the time of me recording this, at the time of me uploading this. At the time of me recording this, it is not out. But yeah, go check it out. Seriously, Brewing Up a Plan has been like stuck in my head. And also, little fun thing happened recently. I actually became a social media attendant for the musical, so I'm actually on the crew now. And I'll tell you guys, I've listened to the entirety of chapter 1 because we got access to that, and let me tell you, it's banging. It's really, really good. I cannot wait to see the full thing, and I really hope you guys go check it out too. Hey, quick update. Actually, I'm recording this a little bit further ahead than I recorded everything else, but I just wanted to add, Le Manberg the Musical, Chapter 1 is now out. Link is in the description. Seriously, go check it out. It is amazing. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and shout out all of my Patreons and Twitch subs. If you want to be included in this little section, you can subscribe to me on Patreon, only $1 a month. It's in the description, or you can subscribe to me on my Twitch channel. Both of them give me money, I don't care. Thank you so much to my Patreon subscribers, Tonkatsu and Samisu Support. Appreciate you guys a lot. And a big thank you to my Twitch subscribers. Those being Samisu Support, Tonkatsu, both of them once again, as well as Volti. Thank you guys all so much for supporting me. I appreciate it a ton. And that's where we're going to end things today. Thank you so much for watching. Can't wait to see you guys in part 2. That'll probably take me a bit to make, honestly, but I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys there. Alright, bye-bye.